Media on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulty.
What is going on, YouTube? Good to see you. Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Trekker here, and I've been crazily trying to get ready for this live stream because Bird of Prey insisted that I had to have it up before 11:15 Eastern. It is 11:12 Eastern, so Bird of Prey, mission accomplished. And yes, Thomas, I'm going to get the Discord simulcast. Like I said, I'm frantically trying to get everything in place because of Bird of Prey. You know, because here's the thing about Bird of Prey. If he tells you to do something and you don't do it, well, people tend to disappear because of that. And so we don't want that to happen. Oh, shoot. You know what I did? Man, Thomas... That's so funny. Okay, so Thomas is just putting in the $11. You'll notice there's now an $11 category for the Super Chats called the Bird of Prey chat. However, and Bird of Prey insisted that his Super Chats have to be more expensive than any other Super Chat. So it's not necessarily a direct reflection of the quality of said Super Chat. No, it's actually pretty good. So give me just a second here, Thomas, because... here's the problem. I forgot, and you'll see a blank screen right now, and there's actually a reason for that, I didn't get the Super Chat scene set up in my XSplit, so I'm doing that as I'm revealing it here. So let's get the actual video file. There it is, Bird Chat 1. All right, guys. So... here it comes. It'll be a little small at first, but then it'll go to its regular size just a second after it starts.
Captain's log, stardate 44307.3. I'm preparing to leave my shuttlecraft for Pentaris 5, where I've been asked to mediate a dispute among the Salinite miners. A contentious group, unfortunately prone to violence. But first, I must deal with a situation of a far more personal nature.
What better way to get first-hand experience?
Captain, I'm picking up a general distress signal from Bird of Prey 5.
On screen.
Feel the fire, feel my love inside you so bright. There's the sound and the smell of love on my mind. I'm your toy, come play with me. Say the word now. Wrap your legs around me. Ride me tonight.
My love is a fever, longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease.
I'm a man, I'm a goddess, I'm a man, I'm a virgin. I'm a man, I'm a blue movie. I'm a man, I'm a bitch. I'm a man, I'm a geyser. I'm a man, I'm a little girl. And we'll make love together. This sounds very pedo-ish.
In faith, I do not love thee with mine eyes, for they in thee 1,000 errors see, but 'tis my heart that loves what they despise, who, in despite of view, art pleased to dote. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate.
What? Oh my God.
When I have plucked the rose, I cannot give it vital growth again. It needs, must wither.
Why are you saying these things? Music to make love to an old ladybug.
You wonderfully jealous fool, you.
Wow, well that's basically rape. That is rape as a song. Congratulations. I gotta go turn myself in.
There it is. So there you go, Bird of Prey. I gotta say, honestly, the hardest part of that was getting Worf to say that he had an incoming transmission from Bird of Prey 5. But oh man. So now Bird of Prey, it's not quite that long. It is obviously the longest super chat to date. But let me first of all, we'll get the screen updated here. There we go. So Bird of Prey chat number 1, like a man loves a Jeep. Wow. That was like, I tell you, I was worried that it wasn't going to quite work, but you know, some of the little comments you made when you were singing that song just worked so well to reacting to Picard getting all Shakespeare on you. So there you go. Bird of Prey starring in his own mega chat that even is a higher ranking mega chat than anything that Lore Reloaded is in. So congratulations, Bird. How did I get Worf to say Bird of Prey 5? A lot of editing there. What I ended up doing was he actually, I started searching through the entire database of scripts for Star Trek The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. And I ended up using a clip from a Star Trek the Star Trek The Next Generation episode where we see the opening captain's log. I believe that episode is called Firstborn. Or no, that's a different episode that I used some stuff from. But no, it might have been Firstborn. No, shoot. Anyway, I used like 4 different episodes in it. But anyway, so yeah, so what he did was he said, Captain, we're getting a distress signal from like Mechalon 5. So then I took out the planet name and then found a clip in Deep Space Nine where he said a bird of prey and threw that in there. And so it came out to getting a distress signal from Bird of Prey 5. And it was, I gotta say, it took hours of tweaking that to make it sound natural enough to where it really just sounds like that's what Worf's saying. And I actually I downloaded like 5 different clips of Worf saying Bird of Prey to find the one that fit the best. And that was actually from an episode from Deep Space Nine I believe. Yeah, because I tried, there was a couple from the next gen, but yeah, it was the Deep Space Nine one that I ended up using. So yeah, that was fun. That was actually a lot of fun to put together, Bird, and so I'm glad you liked it. I hope that your mom survived the experience there. So now we know. You know, the only thing is, there was a challenge, and so I really wanted to take advantage of some of the odd things you said. So like at one point you said music to have sex with old women by, and that's why I threw in the shot of Lwaxana sitting in Picard's lap. But yeah. Have I given up on Lore? No. He said, but although Lore hasn't been doing that much, I mean, he hasn't been doing live streams at all lately. I don't know what's up with that, but so, and I have picked on him a lot, so I don't want to be too mean to him. All right, so now I got to get serious here. I got to get everything set up here so that I can watch the Orville. And let's see, his cat has cancer from the yeah, Lore seems to have, yeah, he's kind of gone on the down low. I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't know if he's having a rough patch or something right now. I don't want to kick the man while he's down, so I don't know exactly what's going on, and so I'm just trying to be considerate of my friend here. Night Breeze throws $11 into the chat. Gee, I wonder why. At least the nice thing about it is that it won't be hard to tell which one people are after if they throw 11 in. That's true. And Charlita wants the Wamen, so I'll tell you what. I mean, I'll put the Wamen on first, and then we'll re-experience the majesty that is Bird of Prey 5.
I'm a better female character than you.
You would be if you didn't spend all your time with that temper tantrum meme guy.
At least I'm not the one on a show with a questionable acronym.
Take it back.
No.
Yes.
Oops. Sorry to bother you.
Oops, wrong button. All right, so now give me just a second. We'll move that. Move that. All right, and then we gotta add. What I'm doing, I'm adding to my Stream Deck the control to switch to the Bird of Prey level of chat. And for right now, since there's only one bird chat, then I can just put a direct link to the scene. All right, so let's test this bad boy out and see if it works.
Captain's log, stardate 44307.3. I'm preparing to leave my shuttlecraft for Pentaris 5, where I've been asked to mediate a dispute among the Salanite miners, a contentious group, unfortunately prone to violence. But first, I must deal with a situation of a far more personal nature.
What better way to get first-hand experience?
Captain, I'm picking up a general distress signal from Bird of Prey 5.
On screen.
Feel the fire, feel my love inside you so bright. There's the sound and the smell of love on my mind. I'm your toy, come play with me. Say the word now. Wrap your legs around me. Ride me tonight.
My love is a fever, longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease.
I'm a man, I'm a goddess, I'm a man, I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a blue movie, I'm a man, I'm a bitch, I'm a man, I'm a geyser, I'm a man, I'm a little girl, and we'll make love together. This sounds very pedo-ish.
In faith, I do not love thee with mine eyes, for they in thee 1,000 errors see, but 'tis my heart that loves what they despise, who, in despite of view, art pleased to dote. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate.
What? Oh my God.
When I have plucked the rose, I cannot give it vital growth again. It needs, must wither.
Why are you saying these things? Music to make love to an old ladybug.
You wonderfully jealous fool, you.
Wow, well that's basically rape. That is rape as a song. Congratulations. I gotta go turn myself in.
And so Bird of Prey said, hey, where's the view screen? You didn't use the view screen for that one. So I couldn't include the view screen. But I actually, Bird, I was going to try to edit in a next-gen view screen for that, but I literally just ran out of time. And so, but I may do that for if you ever serenade any of the other wonderful casts. So tonight, we're going to be watching some Deep Space Nine, jeez, some Orville. So this is, of course, Identity Part 2. And I know that most people that have seen it, I have purposely been staying away from any, DJ's going to bed, you have a good one. I've purposely been staying away from spoilers on it. However, talking to people and just listening to non-spoiler stuff on it, it sounds like pretty much the consensus is that everybody except for Bird of Prey loves it. And so Bird of Prey doesn't seem to like it. So I invited Bird of Prey he's going to actually be a guest on my Monday live stream, and he and I are going to, fight about it a little bit. Also, really exciting is that we're tentatively scheduled on Monday to do a recording for Trek Yards. We're going to do some discussion on Discovery, so I'm looking forward to that. So let's mute this because I don't want to get in any trouble here. Before you have any episode, Ricky, Hector, and I created something amazing. I sent a picture on Discord. All right, let me take a quick look, Mr. Miles. And let's see. First of all, that pop filter you got, I think is kind of cool looking. But yes, how did you make that? Is that just like, it's a cowbell with your name on it and a wrench for that's like, that is so you right there. So let me show it to everybody. So very nice. So yes, that is definitely you. So Night Breeze throws a buck in. Thank you so much, Night Breeze. Identity is Orville's best of both worlds. I'll tell you this, part one definitely, it's funny because the part one of Identity, it's hard to compare to Best of Both Worlds except for the very, very end of the episode. Because up to that point, Best of Both Worlds, while it was a Riker-centric piece, and it was a good episode, in fact, it was probably Riker's single best episode, was Best of Both Worlds Part 1. However, the whole thing was a build-up to this battle. In Orville, granted, the clues are all there. We figured it out probably midway through the show, but it's a surprise or a twist, if you will, that the Kalons are even the bad guys. right? And really, most of the time, you're just trying to figure out what the heck is going on, as opposed to in Best of Both Worlds, it's like, oh crap, the Borg are here. What are they going to do? In the meantime, though, it looks like we need to get some Hypnoturd action going on here. All hail the Hypnoturd. You must give to the Hypnoturd. The Hypnoturd is life. The Hypnoturd... Oh, shoot. I forgot to unmute it, didn't I? Thank you, Mr. Miles. Hypnoturd is love, and the Hypnoturd is in your mind. The Hypnoturd owns you. The Hypnoturd is you. You must give to the Hypnoturd. There you go. So then Commander Ironwolf.
I have something better. I have something better. I have something better. Okay, fine. Here you go.
Alright, so now guys, I know you're talking about stuff that I know about the eye guns, obviously, but I haven't seen everything yet. So Commander throws another buck in there, and I haven't even put on a super chat reward for it. So Commander, is there a super chat reward you are after, my friend, or are you just being really generous, in which case I really appreciate it. And Ensign Ricky says, Miles inquired that my videos were missing something. He said I needed more cowbell, so I made him a cowbell. I'm going to throw that in my current vid. That's not... Yeah, I like that. So you made that? Very nice. I'm curious what 3D software you're using for that. Because that's a decent-looking cowbell. And actually, the wrench looks pretty good, too. Reagan, I suggest putting a wrench. Yeah, I like the wrench for the clapper, I think it's called. The part inside a bell that makes it ring. So I think that's cool. Like bacon, more cowbell makes everything better. That's true. Hector perfected it. It's not Ricky's original one. Okay. Well, I love it. You guys did it's a nice collaborative effort. And Miles, you're going to have to use that when you start putting videos up. You're going to have to figure out a way to... 13 and 11, that's always way better with more cowbell. All right. So let's get 13 and 11 going. So speaking of Lore Reloaded...
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
Sir, we are being hailed.
On screen. What is your problem?
I am Lore.
Do you need help?
I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Lore Reloaded.
Let me guess, their rubber band broke, right?
I make YouTube go.
Now, before I hit the mute button and get into the episode, Ensign Ricky, is there a super chat or uber chat reward that you wanted to see? Since you did put that $5 in there, I want to make sure that I got you covered. And yeah, I think that cat is actually immune to Lore's singing, and I got a theory on that. We all know that cat actually is in the upcoming Captain Marvel film. And so if that cat, basically, I think the cat's deaf. I think that's the only way the cat can put up with, my voice is low on Discord. You know, I'm trying to figure out what's up with the voice on Discord. I don't know why that is, but I'll try to do the best I can here. But the cat is completely deaf, and that's the only reason it can both A, put up with Laura's singing, and B, put up with Brie Larson's vocal fry whenever she's like, I like being Captain Marvel. So that's the only thing I can think of. The cat is completely deaf. Jaegerbomb throws $5, says, Identity is amazing. Hope I'm not spoiling it. Well, we're about to watch part 2 in just a second. Orville's a breath of fresh air in this STD-ridden world. Hope next season gets more episodes. I do too. I really do like the Orville. I think it's a solid show. And while I would put the Orville at a solid number 2 as far as science fiction shows that I anticipate for this year. Number 1 being Expanse. But yeah, it's a good show. Definitely. And he wants to see Uber Chat number 6. I see what you see. You guys are just trying to stop me from being able to watch the Orville with all these super chats. Not that I, well, I do mind because I want to see it, but at the same time I don't mind because that means you're giving me money and I'm a greedy son of a bitch. So there's that.
I now pronounce you man and turd. You may now kiss.
Joshua, what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm definitely not making you kiss Law. I repeat, I am not making you kiss Law. I'm definitely not. Hello, unfortunately there's not going to be a part 4. Dad just fixed the computer and he promises not to destroy it again as long as I don't do another one of those, so there's going to be no part 4. Wait, hold on, I just got a text message. Please do these videos, Puffed 4 is very anticipated. Nope, I quit.
Get him.
Sing it. Sing it. Sing it.
And by the way, Charlita, I saw you said you put your cat down, and I know that can be really tough. We have a wonderful ragdoll. I don't know if you know what that breed looks like, but they're beautiful cats. And he's only like 2 or 3 now, so he's just a youngin'. But yeah, I know when you have a pet for that long, you get so attached to them, and so yeah, it's tough. That's tough. All right, so Admiral says Identity is better than Sacrifice of Angel. I don't think it's going to be that awesome. As much as I'm looking forward to this, I know that there are some detractors as far as that there are things about it that some people don't like. So, and Mr. Miles is paying me $1 just to start the show. So let's get this show started. Otherwise, I'm going to be here until 5 o'clock in the morning, and I don't want that. All right, so it is, we start out, of course, right where it left off from before with the fleet heading to Earth. And okay, I know I'm not going to spend the entire shoot, and I messed up a little bit. I'm not going to spend the entire show talking about the ship porn, but man, what can I say? What a beautiful shot. Look at that. That is just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, that's funny. So this webcam is kind of screwed up. Let's fix that. All right. So yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous. And it really gives you a good feeling of the scale as far as the size of the Orville versus the size of the Kalon ships, which the Kalon ship design, I'll say this. They're definitely unique. And so, yeah, that's one thing I do appreciate about the Orville is that their creative team works very hard to make aliens seem alien. I really think the only race they dropped the ball with is the Krill. The design of the Krill themselves is fine. They look kind of like a hybrid of Klingons and Cardassians, but the ships, the Krill ships, just look too boxy to me. Whereas I really like the lines on the Union ships. But let us move on and turn that off because I don't want to get DMCA'd by Fox, although Fox is a lot nicer about this stuff. But yeah, I could see, yeah, they kind of make me think of the Matrix too, Mr. Miles. I can see that. So the entire crew's on the in the hangar bay, which we knew that was coming. Now, at least they're addressing it, because I had a problem with the fact that they kept the crew alive in the last episode. So we'll see if they actually come up with a good reason. So Gordon's going to go try to talk their way out. So, yeah. So, so Gordon is trying to talk to the robot, but, you know, in a very Gordon way. I do like Gordon. His character is really fun. But this goes back to, and I have a feeling I'm going to probably complain about this a lot through this episode, but I have a problem with the fact that they are really, everybody on the Orville is really dense about the fact that these are freaking machines that have no emotion whatsoever. And yet they keep trying to appeal to emotion to these machines. Like, if you just keep doing it, it's going to work. Now, that being said, I also think there's a very strong possibility that Isaac is growing emotional attachment to the crew, and that's going to be the big linchpin to turn things around. But regardless, that this whole thing, because I just don't see them dumping Isaac as a character. They're going to keep Isaac on the show because everybody loves him. But yeah, but Gordon is great. But like when the doctor starts talking to them or Captain Mercer starts talking to them, I really get a little tired of the fact that they're really trying to use sentimentality and emotion as a form of argumentation with a machine. It just doesn't work. But he's suggesting the machines would love Jersey because they have good bagels. So he's, and the Kalon is just completely ignoring him, which, you know, that's not surprising. So the younger kid of the doctor, I can't remember the kids' names for some reason, but the younger kid is basically insisting that Isaac's going to help them. And Mom is, of course, saying, well, no, Isaac is doing some bad things. He's not going to be helping us. Ty, thank you, yes. And so now the kid is trying to get out, but the Kalon stop him. Ooh, and they just blasted the crap out of, what's her name? Gosh, I'm horrible with these names. The girl, the with the pointed ears, the super strong girl. But she's badly injured. They got to get her to sick bay. So, Tila, something like that. And like I like Seth's or Captain Mercer, you know, trying to get them to let him go into sickbay, and they do, because he uses a good argument. And that's what you need against a machine, where he wasn't arguing for emotion. Oh, we all care about her, or something like that. He argues that you obviously, for some reason, need to keep us alive, and she's a vital member of my crew. And so I can't do anything without her. So then they let her take her to sickbay. I like that. That's a much better form of argumentation than she's my friend, or we all care about her, or blah, blah, blah. Which is what they were doing almost entirely in the last one. And so Pot said Burnham, and now Resolute says no cursing. Yeah, Burnham is officially a curse word, I think. All right, so skipped ahead a little bit to get to the end of the credits. And let's see where we pick up. So another beautiful, I'm not going to pause it every time there's a beautiful ship porn shot, but this is a gorgeous shot of the Orville. So they're working on Talia, however you say your name, Tala. So she says that their weapons are pretty powerful, which... So Isaac is not displaying any emotion, and once again, the doctor is getting all pissed off at him because he's not being emotional. And he's just answering like he should. He's like, when she's all mad, and he's like, well, I understand that's a weakness of biological life forms, that you have these emotional connections and stuff. So I appreciate that. I just don't appreciate how stupid the entire crew of the Orville is being about Isaac. They think that just because he's been hanging around with them for the last couple of years, that he automatically has a sentimental attachment. But he's a machine. They really don't seem to understand this. So the entire bridge crew is now in the briefing room. So, and okay, so now they're going to explain why they're alive. Okay, so okay, do I think it would be immoral to reprogram the Kalon to be peaceful? Not at all, because they are machines. They are not alive. But I have a little bit of a problem here, because the Kalon are obviously remarkably intelligent. But here's the thing. So they explain that, and I think this is kind of a weak argument anyway, unless the Kalon are not nearly as advanced as we assume they are. Like, I think that, and maybe we'll because they seem apprehensive about Earth's defenses. So that tells me that while these Kalon ships are big and impressive and could probably beat a Union ship one-on-one, that they're not invincible. These are not Borg ships, right? Where it would take an entire fleet to take one of these spheres down. So that, I guess I can kind of buy, because their whole reason for keeping them alive is basically that they want to, they want the crew of the Orville to pretend that everything is okay, so that the Earth wouldn't raise their defenses when they showed up. So I guess, yeah. Enter, I was nitpicking this episode if I was nitpicking, let's see, and Checker, I was nitpicking this episode if I was nitpicking that I should tell you something, but I still love the episode. Okay. Well, I'm not saying the episode's bad. I'm just, suggesting that I think that that's And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if they made the Kalon like the Borg, which they're, it seems like, because in the last episode we saw that standard issue Union, whatever they call their guns, I don't remember, but standard issue Union light arms are effective against the Kalon. They took down several Kalon when the Kalon took over Orville in the last episode. Further, that if the Kalon ships are not invincible like a Borg ship, then they can have the Kalon be a reoccurring villain and not have to worry about writing themselves into a corner like they did with the Borg, and how the Borg ended up getting nerfed and changed and all that just because they were too damn powerful because they needed really good writing in order to use them, and they didn't have really good writers by the time when they brought them back. Anti-Precker, man, I can't talk tonight. Anti-Trekker, let me rephrase. If someone like me was nitpicking at this episode, then someone like you is going to go crazy. I gotcha. Well, they just call them guns. Yeah, I'm sure there's some name for it, but yeah. Oh, but the other thing, and this is the problem I have with Prime here, is that after he tells them what he wants them to do, they say, well, then what? And he should have said nothing. But instead he says, we're going to exterminate all life on Earth. Well, then why the hell would the crew of the Orville go along with it? That makes no sense whatsoever. Why would the crew of the Orville willingly assist them in the slaughter of all humanity, because they won't even spare them, because as soon as they're done, they're going to kill the crew of the Orville, and they know it. So, you know what? If it were me, it'd be like, sorry, just kill us now, because we are not going to help you. But let's move on. I don't want to spend all day on that. Interesting. So Isaac was made after the rest of them. So they're using kind of the same explanation for their evolution that they used in Discovery with the computer in Calypso. And way too often, I think, and this is something that I don't like, but it's just that, well, they created these machines to be their servants, and then they became self-aware. How did they just become, you know what? If I run my computer for 20 years in a row, the computer's not going to suddenly become self-aware. It's still a freaking computer. So the Kalons took a stupid pill for the episode. Unfortunately, it seems like it so far, but yeah. Prime said that because isn't that what all villains do? They go on telling the hero what their evil plan is. Well, that's true. T-Berg says, good evening, chill and enjoy. You deserve the episode. Well, thank you. So far, like I said, I like the Orville a lot. So even though I'm going to probably pick apart a few things, I definitely don't hate it. But yeah, don't say bad things about the computer. It will kill you. Well, as long as I'm not saying bad things about Bird of Prey, that's the important thing. So the people that created them installed pain synthesizers so that they could torture them. That's actually kind of messed up. If you make a self-learning computer, maybe you could end up becoming self-aware. Yeah, but that's the problem is that a truly learning computer, it's one thing for a computer to collect raw data, right? Like you can have a computer that can analyze an area and record that, okay, this room is 20 feet by 10 feet by 5 feet, and then, make it mobile and it goes into the next room. Okay, that room is 10 by 10 by 10, and it can amass all this information in its database, but that's not going to make it self-aware. And computers can't just do things arbitrarily, right? Everything that they do is a direct result of their programming. And no, I don't know Mass Effect, but that's, well, I guess you're saying it's similar to some things. The Terminator at least explains why and how Skynet became self-aware. Well, that's true. Just not very good. Now, see, and now Gordon is actually becoming my favorite character in this episode because Mercer once again makes an emotional appeal to the Kalon, where he's like, "Oh well, okay, sure, your creators were abusive and you have a right to rebel, but come on, to kill an entire species." He's making a moral argument to a machine. That is not logical. Gordon, however, makes a valid argument for that, which is, okay, let's just assume that these guys were the biggest jerks in the world and deserved it. We aren't them. That is actually a valid argument, that they are applying what they learned about their creators and applying it to other species. So I think that's actually a valid argument. Ensign Ricky throws another fiver in there and says, it shows you that if written well, Orville, the plot holes will be less noticed. When written bad, Discovery, every plot hole is picked with extreme prejudice. That's true, Ensign, although you'll notice one thing that's a little weird with me, and it pisses some people off. I nitpick the crap out of everything. So I will nitpick Orville. I will nitpick every iteration of Star Trek. There are people that left my channel angrily and other people that like cut off support to my channel and just did everything they could because they were absolutely convinced that I hate Star Trek The Next Generation, specifically that I hated Star Trek First Contact and a couple of episodes of Next Gen because of my reviews of them. Just because I nitpick something is not an indication, oh, whoa, the snail is like being a camera hog today. But just because I nitpick something does not mean that I hate it. And it just means that I dig into the little details, and that's what I do. But yeah. All right, let's move on. And that's actually, they're having an interesting conversation. So after Gordon says, look, we're not them. We don't go around enslaving other races. And Prime just immediately responds with, your history would suggest otherwise, which is absolutely true. If you look at human history, there's a lot of bad things in our history. So yeah. Small Yoda says, your review of Peak Performance was funny as hell. Well, thank you. But yeah, there are people that think that I hate Star Trek The Next Generation because of that review, right? The whole thing with Ensign Actress and all that. You know what? Peak Performance was not, you know, even though I'm not a big fan of the early Next Gen stuff, it was a good episode for the early Next Gen. But yeah, but there are people that get really pissed about that. But yeah, I just you know, where I get upset and I've done a couple of videos and I'm actually doing another video. My video on Monday is probably going to be my most serious video that I've ever done because it deals with hate and death and all that. But I got to get it out there. I got to get it off my chest because of a lot of the stuff that I've been through lately. But the thing that I don't mind nitpicking, and I don't mind being righteously angry because of things that are just done wrong, whether it's bad writing or bad continuity or whatever. However, I have a big problem with hate, genuine hate. And that's something that I hope to never give the impression, and that's why it bothered me so much that so many people think I love or I hated Star Trek. Less ranting, more Orville. Sorry. You know how I am. Anti-First Contactor, yes. All right, so let me... They're being logical. They would say, since there's a lot of slavery in your past, it would seem common among biologicals that they enslave other races. Now they talk to each other in machine language, which is interesting. Another ship is coming. So now they're going to test them by having them communicate with the other ship and make sure that they're obedient. And he's like, why should we do it? And basically, well, because if you don't, we'll kill your crew. Which, yeah, that's a good motivator. So the Kalon are now clearing the bridge. So Mercer said Directive 98. Don't know what that means. So the Roosevelt is dropping out of quantum drive. So the Roosevelt is a little bit smaller than the Orville, only has 2 rings on the back, but it's not a lot smaller. So, yeah, so the other ship is there intercepting because, well, why is the Orville showing up with an entire fleet of ships on its trail? So, oh, I see Acid Designs is here. Acid, good to see you. I'm sorry I'm not paying really close attention to the chat because I'm watching the Orville. I'm trying to glance over there every now and then, so if someone throws a super chat or something, I'll see it. But good to see you, Acid, as always. But I want to know what Directive 98 is. I hope, you know, so far I have no clue other than I know that there's going to probably be a code word or something, but we'll see. So they're having their little conversation about, they're basically faking it. Ah, okay. Unfortunately, it's obvious now, but so Ed says, and I offer you a 13-button salute, and now I understand why people for the last few days have been giving me a 13-button salute. So I guess a 13-button salute means something like there's some kind of emergency, kind of like when Captain Kirk says, you know, all's well, code green, or, you know, General Order 24, or something, you know, so yeah. So the 13-button salute is their code word, I guess. Uh-oh, the Kalon are on to him. Well, the Kalon know exactly what a 13-button salute is, so so there you go. Star Trek says 13-button salute is a sailor term when you rip off your pants and are about to bang something. Never heard that, and if Darren were here, I would ask him to confirm that. but yeah. Directive 98 is when the blue screen, the Kalon's Windows 98 joke. Acid says, can't watch Orville and Uruguay, gotta wait until someone uploads it to Mega. Oh, that sucks, man. I'm sorry, Acid. So you can't get it there? You don't have Hulu or anything down there? Antricker, check Discord, please. I sent you some interesting things. All right, Daniel, but it better be quick. Let me see here. Well, let's see. Star Trek Picard spinoff gets first character breakdowns. That's cool. I'll check that out. And then the best of Al Bundy. I will check those out, Daniel, but I'm not going to check them out right now because obviously I'm in the middle of this, but I will definitely check them out. 13-button salute is buttons your old naval trousers and you would open to drop your pants and get screwed. Okay. All right, you guys are, yeah, weird. Okay, so it specifically, the 13-button salute apparently is very specific. It means that the ship has been taken over by a hostile force and that Union Central must be notified. So it's like they created the 13-button salute specifically for this circumstance. I think that should not have been. I think that's a little too specific. I think the 13-button salute should have just been like a general, you know, this ship is compromised or something like that. 20 days to my birthday. So excited. I'm going to get DS9 Season 4, 5, and 7 and Enterprise Season 4. Awesome. All good shows and all good seasons of good shows. And we're heading to an Earth wipe out all humanity, not just ship in danger. That's true. That should have meant that too. So the Roosevelt's taken off. So they're going to destroy the Roosevelt. Let's see. Took about 4 direct hits to destroy the Roosevelt. So that's not, most people probably think that's pretty insignificant. I actually think there's a lot to that. The Roosevelt took 4 direct hits before it exploded. Now, granted, it exploded pretty quickly. It only took 4 hits. But since it did not take it down in a single shot, their weapons are not uber powerful, right? Their weapons are obviously good. I assume they're more advanced than Union weapons, but they're not so powerful that it just like, you know, there's no way to beat them. Yeah, a lot of birthdays lately. What's up with that? So let's move on here. Stop stealing your thunder. Oh, were you thinking of that, Mr. Miles? I wonder if that has to do that Machland shield. You have to wonder if they have that Machland shield. Well, they do have the Machland shield upgrade, and they said that everybody in the fleet was going to use it. Ooh, they're going to punish the captain, and everybody else just gets to go back to the shuttle bay. And again, Captain Mercer's trying to get to Isaac, and Isaac is just telling him to shut up. All right, so this this is so bad. Red shirt, airlock, hostile forces. This man is dead. And Trigger, it's my birthday this month too, and they're stealing my thunder. Bortus is paying now. I don't want a joint birthday party either. Ah, okay, well, you will have a joint birthday party anyway. Prime Deck says 7, Mercer says, you're right. You are right, T-Berg. Prime said Dex 7, but they say Dex A, B, C, D, E, F. There is no Dex 7. Wow. That's good. Although it's possible you could argue that the droids, or the Kalon simply use numerical because they think that makes more sense and is more efficient. That's you know, because at least I don't see like letters all over the decks to indicate what deck you're on. So, and to a machine, it, you know, just makes lots of sense. March 4th is David's birthday. Wow, we do have a lot of birthdays around here. They're putting Ensign Dead Meat into the airlock. So Isaac. All right, so Isaac is now sowing the seeds of what I was talking about. Isaac is going to be the hero. He's suggesting that, oh, thank you. Yeah, I didn't stop the screen. Thank you, Mr. Miles. But Isaac is suggesting to Primary that they don't need to kill the red shirt. And so I'll give him credit there. So this is where Orville gets dark, like Battlestar Galactica dark. Yeah, except we see it a mile away. I mean, come on, red shirt near an airlock, he's a dead man. That's the way it's going to go down.
Captain Mercer has now been made aware of the penalties for disobedience. I believe this will effectively deter him from future resistance.
And Isaac is making a logical argument in that just demonstrating what the punishment would be a good deterrent for humans. However, they would also need to, I think what Isaac needs to say is something to the effect of, based on his observations of humans, that would be more effective than to actually kill. If you kill them, then they'll harden their hearts about it.
Sure, that deterrence. Proceed. The human is a trained systems engineer. His knowledge of this ship's operations could be useful to us. Isaac, you will go to the bridge and assist with the shield upgrade.
So Primary just tells Isaac to leave, and Isaac just leaves because, you know, he's obedient. And now they're killing Ensign Dead Meat. And Ensign Dead Meat is now in space. So, yep, there we go. Enter September 9th is my birthday. That's close, right? Well, it's... I guess. And Hector says, wait then, and teacher. What am I waiting for? Because I want to get back to the episode, so I'm waiting. What am I waiting for? Oh, orange shirt, not red shirt. Yeah, it's kind of orangish. Yeah, you're right. Well, there's like two, yeah. What am I waiting for, Hector? Isaac will make... You're going to put 3 words in at a time? That argument. Oh, okay. Well, if he does, that's good. He should. Gotcha. So, but you don't have to tell me that. I mean, that's all right. So let's move on. So Primary has Isaac in his ready room.
I wish to know why you attempted to spare the life of the biological. As I said, his engineering knowledge could have been useful to us. We are far more technologically advanced than even the most intelligent of the biologicals. Therefore, your argument is not rational. This indicates a flaw in your matrix. It is possible to require reprogramming.
So they're suggesting Isaac needs reprogramming because of that. There we go. Yeah, so you're right. So that's what you're talking about, Hector. So Isaac is explaining to Primary that based on his observations, that if you kill one, then that will lead to increased resolve among the rest of them. That makes sense. So yeah. All right. So let's. Trek was more futuristic. They had Velcro. Well, there is that. All right, so let's move on. Yeah, stop trying to throw fake spoilers at me. So Primary is explaining to him that, you know, the whole thing about him being constructed after the abuse, so he doesn't really know what it was like, that kind of thing. So they're using as an argument against humanity the book Roots. And it seems kind of strange that Primary and the Kalon in general are basically looking at ancient history from this perspective as their precedent. Because if, you know, it would really be like if somebody landed in the United States today and they judged people based on the behaviors of Americans in 1776. And I don't think that they're being very logical here, because they should be looking at recent behavior and patterns of change. And Isaac, and you're right, Commander Iron Wolf. Thank you for the $5, by the way. It says, I feel like Isaac is more logical than Primary at the point, and Primary is being very biased against organics based on his own experience. I think you are 100% right, Commander Iron Wolf, is that that's what it feels like. It's that Isaac is, in fact, making a logical argument, while Primary is making a anti-human argument or anti-organic argument because of the abuse that he witnessed. So yes, very good call out on that, Iron Wolf.
You will download it. Download complete. I have witnessed no evidence of such practices in my encounter.
So yeah, and Isaac immediately says that he has not witnessed anything that even vaguely resembles Roots in humanity. And he's actually using Ty and his brother as examples. This is really actually, Isaac is being very logical. He's going over his reports. He's talking about what he's observed. He's talking about human behavior as he understands it. And Primary is just basically being a dick. Oh, that's what he's asking why he's named Isaac. So he said, and it's pretty much, a lot of people assumed Isaac was named after Isaac Asimov, but Isaac says that he named himself after Isaac Newton because he was much more intelligent than most in our species, which that's a reasonable assumption. But yeah, let's keep going here. So another ship porn shot of the entire fleet on its way to Earth. That's like, it's so funny because I assumed Asimov, but you know, I should have thought of Newton. This is one of the things that makes Orville such a good show, and why I know some people think it's blasphemy for me to say this, but why I think it's Star Trek: The Next Generation done better. Because it's Star Trek: The Next Generation without all the sticks up their asses, and sometimes they deal with things that they completely gloss over in Star Trek. So they're sitting there plotting on what are they going to do. They need to set up communications, blah blah blah. And Gordon shows up. Gordon, now my official favorite character. Gordon shows up and says, "Oh, sorry guys, I was in the pee corner." And they're like, "What?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, there's nowhere to go to the bathroom, so we picked a corner." And if you think about it, you would have to do that. So, and so there, yes, is it funny? Yes, it is. But it's also something that should be there because, you know, that's what you would expect. At least the Orville's well lit. Well, yeah, but, you know, it's lit more like the old Star Trek shows. Seth clearly loves the Next Gen era of Star Trek. This show is purely a love letter to Star Trek: The Next Generation, but I do think it's even better than Star Trek: The Next Generation overall. It's the next generation of Star Trek: The Next Generation. You're right. All right, so let's continue on. So, Bordas does suggest that that 2 Kaylon ships destroying 1 Union ship with ease is that the Union fleet is no match for the Kaylon. But I'm sorry, the Kaylon ships are freaking battleships compared to the Roosevelt is smaller than the Orville, and the Orville is not a warship; it is an explorer, and so he's like, well, 2 of their gigantic ships destroyed the Union's smallest ship. So what? In the real world, Seth named him after Asimov, but Newton, in the story explanation, they get to use both. That's fair enough. Maybe, yeah, they might have had to pay the Asimov estate. That could be where the Newton estate doesn't exist anymore. So Kelly is suggesting that they try to get a shuttle off the ship to contact the Krill. And that does make sense. Well, the Krill are... The Krill are the enemy, but at the same time, if the Kalon's goal is to wipe out all organic life, then it would make sense that you would get the Krill on your side. It would be like if the Dominion in Star Trek came through the wormhole with the express interest in simply taking over the Alpha Quadrant, the Romulans, the Klingons, everybody would have immediately allied themselves against them. And so if they recognize the Kalon as a threat to everybody, then that would work. So yeah, that makes sense. Gordon. The Gordon was great there. So obviously Mercer being the captain, he wants to go on the mission himself, but it doesn't make sense because he would be noticed and they would send the entire fleet to catch him because their plan can't work without Captain Mercer. So Kelly says, I'll go, at least I have a chance of escaping. Then and Mercer was like, well, but I've been on a Krill ship before. And so she's like, oh, that's okay, I'll take Gordon. And Gordon's like, oh man, P-Corner's sounding really good right now. It's just such, Gordon has such perfect timing. And the thing is that everything he says sounds like something that someone would actually say. That's the beauty of the writing here. This is why I really appreciate, even though I don't like the fact that they've dumbed down the crew, I don't like the fact that Primary is acting emotional, but overall, the writing of this show is so much better than what we see on Star Trek Discovery because these characters feel like people. And that's what the producers of STD don't understand. Michael Burnham doesn't feel like a person. However, Ed Mercer, Kelly, Gordon, they feel like people. And the only ones that don't really feel like people aren't people, like Bortus or Isaac. But they're not human, so it's okay for them to be completely different, and that makes sense. But yeah. I'm curious about the P-Corner. Like, did they dam it up so it doesn't ooze all over the shuttle bay as it contained? You know, I was actually thinking that too, Star Trek. Is that, yeah, I mean, you got like 100 and some odd people in there, which means someone is like constantly got to be going into that P-Corner. So, yeah. Sorry, Mr. Miles. I'll shut up for a minute. So Kelly's like, no, you know, I gotta go. So all right, so now we're another ship porn shot, nice shot, and I want to see the P-Corner. Oh, there's Yaphet. Finally, we get to see Yaphet. That's Yaphet says, yeah, I'll do my best not to get killed. So Yaphet's going into the air ducts, which makes sense because he could squeeze through there without too much difficulty. And Yaphet's going for weapons, it looks like. So Yaphet says, hey, Baldy, you want to buy a toupee, and shoots the guy. So he gets him a gun. but wait. Okay. Couple of good things and one really glaring bad thing here. So one thing I like is this shot right here. We have the doctor grabbing her kids, finding a safe place. I'm assuming that the girl behind her is walking out of the P corner, but she's finding a place for them to hide because she knows that it's about to go down. All right, so that I think is good. I like the Yaphet distraction where he throws the little bolt and it distracts the Kalon long enough for him to grab the weapon and shoot the Kalon. But here's the big problem with this sequence. They have a gun. They're going to give the gun to Bortus, and they just said that Bortus has one shot at taking down these two guards. Why? Why? I mean, well, why is it that Yaphet doesn't go? He killed the Kalon in the armory. Why doesn't Yaphet go back to the armory and grab some more guns for everybody? That way they could actually all shoot at once. And that, so I don't, why only one gun? That makes no sense. But let's move on. Oh. Haha. Remembered this time, turn that off. Less resistance means less response. If they armed everyone, the Kalon would just vent. I could, okay, possibly. That anti-trick. I was just screaming that at my TV. Yeah, see, I don't know. I think if you grab 2 or 3 guns, right? I'm not saying grab the whole armory, but come on. You put one gun in the hand of Bortus, another in the hands of the what's her name that I can never remember her name. So that, and then you have your 2 best shots, and they both pick one of the guards and shoot at the same time. And you would think that, yeah, Kalon reflexes would be better too. Yeah. Tali, how do you say it? Yes. It was always one of my biggest contentions with this episode was only one gun. Yeah, it makes no sense. But, yeah. But let's move on. So, Bortus did do it quickly. I like the shot of him shooting the 2 Kalon. But there was about a half a second between shots. A half a second should have been plenty of time for a machine to acquire a target and fire at him. But I know. Nitpicking. Anti-Tracker, you're a jerk. Why do you hate the Orville? So Gordon and Kelly are going for the shuttle. So they're opening the shuttle bay doors. Bortus has his one gun for some reason. So leaving the ship while it's at quantum drive is a bad idea, but they're going to do it anyway, of course. The primary, of course, tells them to close the doors. Shuttle's taking off. The doors are closing. They're going for it. Your standard shot. They just barely scraped through, of course. The shuttle's spinning out of control. And so they're trying to maintain control of the ship so that they can engage its quantum drive, and of course it works. So they're setting a course for the Krill. And they're out of there. All right. So they're ordering one of the Kalon ships to go after the shuttle, which makes sense. So they're so Ty is volunteering to crawl through the ducts with Yaphet to help him send out a distress call, which makes perfect sense. And of course, Mom objects, which I can understand. But Mom, I mean, I'm not saying she's an inconsistent character, because a protective mom would do this. And so I'm not faulting the show for it, but she's wrong, clearly. You know, and granted, no parent, being a parent of 2 kids myself, no parent wants to put their kids in jeopardy, but at the same time, the fate of all life in the galaxy is at stake here. And so as much as I would hate to do it, I have to tell my kid to do it. Let's see. The Kmart Cylon. Kalon. Yeah, that's... I didn't even think about that. They do sound like Cylon. Let's see here. So Ty says he's going to be careful, blah, 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 sentimental, blah, blah, blah. There goes Yaphet into the thing, and the kid is going after. Yeah, that hole is... It's like they really designed that thing just for him, because he could just barely fit through. Why did the Union build the Jeffrey tubes to only be a ½ meter opening? Well, because they figure only kids would want to go in there. All right, so 5 Kalon are now coming in. And all opening up all their weapons. So Bortus drops his weapon. And commercial break. Yeah, they should have just... They should just start killing people. They really should. Why are they not killing people? Like, why don't they say, for example, why wouldn't, if they know they still need the bridge crew for their big plan, how about this? They say, kill half the crew. And then after they slaughter the crew, they tell Mercer, if you do anything else, we're going to kill the other half. You know, that's... the Prime is not behaving logically. So Yaphet and Ty are crawling through the shaft still, and they're in the communications room that conveniently, of course, doesn't have anybody there. You sound like Bird of Prey? Yes. Sorry.
What do we do? You see that green panel over there? Yeah. All right. I'm going to start transmitting the message to Union Central. As soon as I do, you start punching in random frequencies. Doesn't matter what they are. Just keep them coming. Don't stop. Got it.
So at least, and I'll say this, they're actually, I like the fact that they're having the kid... and I'll show the picture of it. So they tell him to go over to this console, and he just tells him to start punching in random frequencies. This actually makes sense. And looking at and this is something we very rarely see in Star Trek at all. If you look at this console, he's hitting a number system here. So it looks like something he could do. And he describes, you see the green panel. The buttons he's hitting are the only green buttons on the panel. So it does make sense that that they would do this. And why didn't they give the gun to Yaphet? Actually, I would say because if they did give the gun to Yaphet, then the Kalon would say, "Where is the weapon?" And if nobody had the weapon, they would know that somebody was loose on the ship. So that actually makes sense. In any prior episodes, do they ever state how the Kalons choose their leaders, their primary? I don't think so, Mr. Miles. We didn't really learn much about the Kalon until part 1 of this. I mean, we just have the occasional, yeah, we're machines, we don't have feelings, stuff like that. But they didn't really get into their societal, how it works or anything. So let's continue on, shall we? And Yaphet is actually doing good as far as how you would do with a deal with a kid. All right, this is awesome. This is actually very, very awesome. So this is probably, even though generally speaking, I hate when they bring kids into stuff like this, because it's usually, oh, look at the cute little kids, and we don't want to put the kids in danger, blah, 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 you know, and it's just annoying. Here, number one, I like Ty's character, and the kids does a great job considering how young he obviously is. Number two, I really like the way Yaphet was encouraging him and telling him, yes, you're doing great, keep it up, you're doing fine. And then as soon as the Kaylon come in, without even a moment's hesitation, Yaphet jumps at the Kaylon. I love that, because you can tell that Yaphet genuinely cares about Ty. And he also made the promise, of course, that he would do everything in his power to make sure Ty was safe. And here we see him actually doing it by taking on the Kaylon by himself. And so I think that it's just really well done. And Yaphet looks like you wouldn't want to mess with him, because he's taken down a Kaylon by juicing into him somehow. So, entry to add weight to that, and this isn't spoiling because you'll see in just saying it nearly kills him. I wouldn't be surprised, yeah, because I'm sure the circuitry and stuff is frying him. So now Kaylon are trying to get him with like tentacles. They're trying to get Ty, and yeah, you can see that Yaphet looks like he's pretty much done at this point. He's kind of gray in color and looks like he's unconscious. But so the kids, Ty gets caught by the Kaylon. Meanwhile, on Earth,
Admiral, we just received a communique priority 1. It's from the Orville.
Oh God, has this been authenticated?
Yes, sir.
We call the fleet.
The entire fleet?
Every last ship.
And this is a nice scene too. Again, they're being smart about it. So obviously the Orville got a message off, and he gives it to the Admiral. The Admiral sees the message and immediately says, recall the fleet. Not like, what should we do? Oh no, what are we gonna... No, it's get the fleet here now.
Sir, that'll take weeks. They're spread out all the fleet now.
And then, yeah, he literally, it's funny because I paused it, but the guy's like, sir, it'll take, he's like, recall the fleet. You know, it's like, we don't have time to get them on their way now. We're going to get invaded. Meanwhile, Ensign Ricky throws a couple bucks in. Thank you so much, Ensign. Says, Ty is everything Wesley Crusher wanted to be and more. You are so right. This is, in fact, exactly what Wesley Crusher should have been. And... which is too bad, because I mean, no offense to Will Wheaton, but he was, you know, because the thing is that in Next Gen, and I guess this is one of the problems I had with Wesley Crusher, and actually, and this drugged down Next Generation for me a lot, is that you would see Will Wheaton going, oh golly gee whiz, I get to go on the bridge, but he looks way too old to be acting like that. If Wesley Crusher looked like he was Ty's age, then the way he behaved in those first few seasons of Next Gen would have been absolutely perfect. But because Will Wheaton was so much older than Ty, it doesn't make sense that he would be acting like a little kid. And so, yeah, very good call out on that, Ensign Ricky. So shuttle is now on its way, but the Kaylon ship is right on their tail. And they can't go any faster. Now here's another thing. All right, so sorry for being quiet there, but I wanted to hear what he was saying. Their technobabble is so much better than the technobabble in any of the later Treks. I'm sorry, what he just said makes perfect sense. And it's actually very reminiscent of the way they did technobabble to me on the original series, where they didn't start talking, throwing out fancy words just to make it sound like technobabble. He said something that made sense. He said, okay, They're, you know, the Kalon ships on their tail. There's no way to outrun them. Okay, theoretically you could do this, although I don't recommend it because we'll be dead in the water. But if we route every little bit of power in the ship, life support, the lights, everything, into a single burst from the quantum drive, we will take off like a bat out of hell, but then we'll have no power. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Absolutely makes perfect sense. And also, yeah, and having the Kalon chase him, that makes sense too. And that actually is one of the few logical things that Prime has done.
Initiating power transfer. What's our destination point?
Anywhere inside Krill space.
Just so you know, this could rip the shuttle in half. How do I know? Here goes. In 3.
So that obviously works. So all the power of the shuttle is going into a single burst on the quantum drive, and the shuttle is going super duper fast. And obviously they left the Kalon in the dust, but now the shuttle just comes out of quantum drive and has no power. So now they just gotta hope that they get found by the Krill, which of course they will be because they're heroes. If they were a couple of red shirts, they'd just die. That's good. So another great piece of writing where Kelly is asking if if Gordon can tell where they are based on the stars, and Gordon's like, yeah, I'm not really good at that. You know, I can only see the Big Dipper. I have no idea where I am. That's good stuff. But the only 15 minutes there. I think I haven't heard that, but okay. Oops.
They found us.
Oh shoot! Somehow I skipped. Let me. Yeah, so the Krill just happened to be right there to pick him up, so that's kind of a bit of a coincidence, but whatever. So we get our first Krill ship porn shot here, and this is the Orville equivalent of the Discovery. And when I say that, I'm not saying because it's the writing or anything like that, but the Krill ships to me just don't work. They are way too boxy. They're too angular. I understand that they wanted to have a very different design aesthetic, but so Avis helped them. That's true. I'll praise Avis. The Orville have ugly ships. Well, I was actually saying that earlier, Tentacles. I think that the Krill ships are very ugly. I like the Union ships. I have to say that I think that the Kalon ships I could take or leave, but at least they're unique. But the Krill ships look like they were designed by a 10-year-old to me. I just don't like that design at all. I think they are they look like they're trying to look kind of like Romulans, but I think part of that is just because they have all the green in their aesthetic. So, of course, the Krill don't believe them.
That means us, and that means you. Our only chance of stopping them is to work together.
How do you propose we work together?
Assemble your fleet and take us back to Earth. With a combined armada that formidable, we could take you back to Earth.
Your fleet will no doubt be waiting in ambush.
Dude, are you high?
Again, Gordon is just gold. This should be the Gordon show. When the Krill says, you know, oh, he doesn't believe you. You just wants to get our fleet together to go to Earth, and then you're going to ambush us. And Gordon is like, dude, are you high? You know, and again, that is something I could see someone saying for real, but it is also hilarious. Do they use any practical model shots, or it's all CG? I assume it is all CG. I haven't really looked that up, but these days practical models are a pretty rare thing, to be honest, Fred, because especially for television, you can actually produce a show for less money with CG now than you can with practical. And Andy Jigger remembered Portland and laughed, yes, and wishing I was high when I watch Discovery.
You are a godless race of sub-creatures, well trained to lie and deceive. But you are now my prisoners.
There's guys saying that the Orville uses practical model. If they do, that's very unusual, but that's cool if they do. I'm all for it. And it proves that practical models can work. Although the ships in these 2 episodes have looked way better. I don't know what they've done different, but they look really good in these last couple episodes. Actually, season 2 in general. Daniel says, the Untitled show about nerdy stuff looked cool. I'll tell you, I'll take a quick break here for just a minute. I loved doing the Untitled show about nerdy stuff. Now, most of the time, I know that I didn't show a full episode of it or anything, but most of it was just me and the guy named Tim. And we would co-host the show. And the reason that Tim and I think, worked is that we both have a lot of common interests, but we both disagree with each other on about everything. And so that made it fun, because we would never come out of anything with the exact same opinion. Sure, sometimes we'd agree that a movie was good, or we'd agree that a movie was bad, but we'd say different reasons why we thought it was good or bad. And I've thought about it. I would love to do something like that on the Anti-Trekker channel eventually, to get maybe 1 or 2 regular co-hosts to show up once or twice a week. But the problem is I'm such a small channel right now that it's not like people are knocking on my door to be a co-host, because, you know, they're knocking on the door of people like Trek Yards or, you know, Nerdrotic, or even Lore Reloaded, or, you know, channels that you get a big boost if you hang out with them, assuming you do well. So, yeah. Anyway, Commander Ironwolf says, I would love to help you restart the Untitled show about nerdy stuff. We'll talk about that eventually, because I think it would be fun. So you Googled it, and the Orville does have practical. That's cool. I'm actually all for that. I used to be into kit bashing, and you know, one thing, I don't know if you know this, but Captain Foley is actually a master model maker, and so I love practical models for sci-fi. I absolutely adore them. I think that like, for example, the Enterprise and the Reliant in Star Trek II, 2 of the best looking ships in all of science fiction, and not a drop of CG, because CG didn't even exist. In fact, that movie had the first CG sequence with the Genesis planet sequence, and, you know, it looks like a cartoon. So, yeah. So, should get Captain Foley to make a model of the Orville. Talk to him. I know he's working on a really detailed Enterprise model. If you go to his personal channel, not Trek Yards, but you go to Captain Foley's channel, he has videos of him putting together an Enterprise model that is just gorgeous. So, but yeah, Fred, the Enterprise refit is an absolutely beautiful model. And if you haven't seen it, the original Enterprise model, it's at the Smithsonian, is a gorgeous model to look at. I mean, you can look at this, it's 8 feet long, and the first time I saw it was, gosh, you know, 30 years ago, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous model. And actually more than 30 years, God, it was like 35 years ago. I'm old. But it's an absolutely gorgeous model, and you can look at it up close. You don't realize how much, Thomas, you're going to be in DC, you're going to see it. I am jealous of you. Take some pictures, man, and put it on Discord, because it is gorgeous. And by the way, and I didn't get to see it since they refurbished it and got all the lights working, because now they got all the lights and everything working on it, and they light it up like twice a day. So make sure you're there when they do that. But yeah, but it's a much more detailed model than people give it credit for. But yes, it is absolutely. I love the original Enterprise. I think that they should honestly reproduce that model for a show instead of using CG versions of it. And yeah, the NX-01 was a good CG ship, but I still think practical has just something to it that I just really like. But yeah, you definitely want to see with the lights on. I've only seen videos of it, but oh, it looks beautiful. But that's something to think about as far as if you look at the original series of Star Trek. I'll keep watching in just a second. But if you go back to the original series of Star Trek and you look at the Enterprise, every window, the glowing nacelles, the glowing things on the top and bottom of the saucer, the blinking running lights on the ship, all of that was incorporated into the model. They couldn't add anything after the fact. So you had to be able to see it on screen. The only thing they added after the fact was the star field behind it and like phaser effects. But yeah. So let me see here. Rodent Claws puts a link in there. I have no idea what that's for, but oh, picture of the Orville model. Yeah, that's a beautiful model. So that is cool that they use a practical model. I'm impressed with Seth. Everything that he's done with this show has been really good. Use practical when you can do CG and make up the difference is how, yeah. They did, yeah. Absolutely. The original Battlestar shooting model, yeah, that was a beautiful model too. So, yes. I don't think the original Galactica is on display anywhere. It probably doesn't even exist anymore. Because they cannibalized almost everything from Galactica to make Buck Rogers. All right, so it sounded like he was saying Avis. Let me go back.
You are a godless race of sub-creatures, well trained to lie and deceive. But you are now my prisoners. Avis has been generous today. See? Avis, I told you I wasn't making that up.
Man, Gordon is so perfect. He, the Krill captain is like, yes, Avis has given you to me. And Gordon looks over at Kelly and says, see, Avis, I told you I wasn't making that up. So that's good.
Them to interrogation. Tell them to extract whatever Union secrets they can, then kill them.
Wait, you have to believe us. Damn it, don't be an idiot.
Captain, the ship is dropping out of quantum space.
Oh, and there's the other ship. Now.
So yeah, that's that thing we were telling you about.
Again, Gordon. Oh man. So the Kalon ship drops out of quantum and they're looking at it, and then Gordon, without missing a beat, looks at him and says, yeah, so that's that thing that we were telling you about. It's like, that's just gorgeous. Museum in Seattle has all the Enterprise Voyager DS9 filming models and screen-used chairs and uniforms on display as a religious experience worthy of Avis. That would be cool to go there. I did not know about that. You know what? And I'll be honest with you, and I know this sounds ridiculously stupid, but I absolutely would have done it. If I was a millionaire when they did that Christie's auction of Star Trek, I would own a couple of shooting models because those things that they put on auction were gorgeous. But yeah, that's a whole other thing. Let me continue on. And all right, so we're getting our first battle scene. All right, so again, it took about 3 or 4 shots to take down one of the Krill ships. And of course, it's not the ship with Gordon on it. And so the other 2 ships, well, one of them's gone. So there's only one Krill ship left, and they haven't even gotten a hit on it. But, okay, so then they took down the... Yeah, so they're definitely not... The Kalon are powerful, but they're not gods. I mean, a single Krill battleship took that ship down after it took down the other 2. Who shot first, Krill or Kalon? It's hard to know, Hector, because they don't show it. They show They show that the ship is there. They cut to commercial. When they come back from the commercial, the battle is already engaged. So we're not 100% sure. But let's continue on. So now, of course, the Krill believe them, which does make sense. So meanwhile, the fleet is still heading to Earth. So Primary wants to talk to Isaac again. But, okay, here's a question. Maybe I'm missing something, but the last time Primary was talking to Isaac, Primary asked him why he calls himself Isaac. Isaac explained it, and Primary said, well, then you need to pick a new designation. The other Kalon just came in and referred to him as Isaac. So he didn't pick another designation? Why isn't he now 3rd of 5 or whatever? Why is he still Isaac? Just asking, because it seems like he would have picked a name already. So they have Ty. Oh, okay. This is cliche to the max. This is absolutely cliche to the max. I know exactly what's going to happen in this scene. So Isaac walks in. Primary's holding Ty. And so Primary is about to tell Isaac to kill Ty to prove his worth. Isaac is going to pull out his guns and kill Prime. That's what's going to happen. I will bet money right now that is what's going to happen. So let's find out. Oh, you're saying wrong, huh, Thomas? Okay, well, let's see. Yes, he is to be terminated. So, yeah, he's telling Isaac to kill him. So here it comes. So let's see. Now, first of all, I got to say this. Isaac looks like a freaking badass with his guns out. That is a freak. Yeah. So Isaac's, oh boy, here I go killing again. I just love killing. This is again. They did a great. I mean, it's an original idea to have these eye guns, and I think it's a cool idea. But I think with the blue on Isaac, damn, that looks awesome. I think it looks way better than the red on the other guys. So, but of course, we know he's not going to kill Ty. So I'm going to take a chance and play a few seconds of this because I'll bet you that Prime is about to die. Let's find out. Oh, he ripped his head off. Well, that's different. And then he shoots the other guys. So, yeah. Oh, so you're saying, oh, that's why you're saying I was wrong. Okay. So, not a badly done scene, although the head ripping seems a little strange. It would make more sense for him to just shoot him. He had his gun out, and then he actually has the gun go in, rips off the guy's head, pops the gun back out to shoot the other two guys. And that doesn't make sense. Now, Rudyard point makes a good point as far as the timing of it. He's a second generation Kalon, so he has faster reaction time. I would believe that. That's funny. Content issues detected. Heads up, we've detected copyrighted audio and video on your stream. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. So, guys, let me know if the stream suddenly stops and I'll start another stream, because obviously Fox is going to probably DMCA this stream. But the so of course, if it's already blocked, so you probably don't know. But yeah, let me know if the stream dies, and I'll do what I can here. But let me see here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can do while it's still running. Anyway, but yeah, let's continue on, shall we? Deactivation complete. That's why you put that in the chat. Okay. Well, here's the thing, Technical. I know Fox is not and Laughable. Thank you so much for the $1.99. If you want a super chat reward, be sure to let me know. Fox is not a dickish company like CBS. They will DMCA you if the content bots detect it. However, when you file a counter, they will back down. I've gotten DMCA'd by Fox about 5 times, and every single time, all I did was counter it saying this is fair use, and they dropped it. And so I don't have any grudges against Fox like I do with CBS. You can always go to Discovery for your dead child fix. Yeah, that's... So, yeah, all glory to Avis. Well, Avis is obviously not watching over the stream since I got hit by the copyright bots, but let's see. Let's continue on here. And yeah, and so right here we have, you know, the I will not allow them to harm you. This is Isaac having feelings. However, I think that his feelings are not, I mean, it is what it is. I know it's science fiction. A machine that can actually have feelings, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. His feelings are logical. Well, only to a certain extent, in that he understands that humans are not the danger that Prime believed they were. So that part is logical. However, his comforting tie, that is emotion. And so his heart grew 2 sizes that day. So Prime's death statement was, "You will always be alone," which is, see, and that's the setup right there. So from now on, Isaac will be the only Kalon welcome in the Union, and all the other Kalon are now going to be the big bads from now on against the Union. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So Isaac's storming the bridge. Holy crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He just killed the entire bridge crew of Kalons. Which, again, I would complain about, but they all had their backs to him. So he could basically bam, 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 before they had enough time to get up and turn around. So I'm actually okay with it. That final line is also why Isaac had to rip Prime's head off instead of shooting him. Well, that's true, so he could get that line off. You're absolutely right, Small Yoda. That is, yes, movie laws.
I am programming the ship's internal communications network to broadcast a wide-range EM pulse throughout the ship. It will deactivate every Kalon on board.
And then, we're all gonna be okay?
You will be unharmed. I, however, will be deactivated along with the other Kalon.
So Isaac is going to commit suicide to stop the Kalons by sending a signal through the ship that will deactivate all the Kalons on the ship. Now, two things. There are two possibilities. Either the signal doesn't go off and Isaac stays around, or the signal does go off and they just reactivate Isaac at the end of the episode. One of those two things is obviously going to happen. I'm going for the... it's an EMP basically. So I'm going for it's going to work and they're all going to drop, because we know from the trailer that the crew takes control of the Orville by the time they get to Earth. So I'm thinking that the EM pulse will take Isaac out, but then they'll revive him later. And why doesn't the EM pulse fire the ship's computers too? Because Isaac obviously programmed it to only affect the Kalon, because he's just that smart. So Laughable Larry, another $1.99. Thank you so much, my friend. I do truly appreciate it. Now that's 2 I owe you. So if you want a super chat reward, do let me know, because I don't want you to think that I'm ripping you off here. That's some weakness that the Kalons have. The EMP can kill them all. That's true. Well, or whatever. What did he call it? Let me rewind it for a second and see what he calls it. Yeah, an EM pulse. So yes, that is an EMP. He just said EM pulse instead of P. It's electromagnetic pulse is what EMP stands for. So he said EM pulse when he should have said EMP, but whatever. I'm not going to nitpick that bad. But let's move on. Oh, it's an evil machine pulse. Oh, sorry. Alpha 1 4 Omega 6. Okay. That's the code to open up the air or the shuttle bay. So, yep, pulse worked. All the Kalon are just dropped, including Isaac. Isaac was actually the first to go down. And so, although one thing that's kind of weird, on all the Kalon, their lights are on, except Isaac's lights are on, but Isaac's eyes went out, but all the other Kalon's eyes stayed on. So that's kind of weird. So now the kid's running to the airlock. Running around all the dead Kalon. Well, now their eyes are out. What? Wait, what? Whoa. Wait a minute. All right, so here's the keypad. And you can see, so there's the things you enter, and then this here is the enter button. So you would hit the Alpha 1, or was it Alpha 1 4 Omega 6, right? Or was it Alpha 2? Okay, so Alpha 2 4 Omega 6. So let's watch him enter in Alpha 2 4 Omega 6 and enter. What? That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Let it go. Yeah, I know. But they were doing so good, like remember I was talking earlier about how Ty, when he's inputting the random frequencies, how I really liked that. But that was cheap. What if basically they should have changed it to, because Isaac's voices is dubbed anyway, so just change it to where he says, you know, the access code is 27. There, now it's fixed. So Ty tells him that Isaac killed all the Kalon, And so now the crew, the Orville, and the 3 kids that are on the Orville, because that warrants having a school on the ship, are taken back over. Everybody's taking their posts back. Woot woot. So far you're picking all the points I was, and more, of course. Well, that's me. So they're clearing out all the Kalon bodies because that's important. Alright, so they just dropped out of Quantum Drive. Ooh, dang, and there's the fleet. Alright, so obviously we're going to have the big battle now. But I want to point something out because dang it. I'm like just a little too slow. Come on. Oh, now the computer's going to be weird. All right, let's go back just a hair. All right. So, because someone mentioned it earlier, sorry, I didn't catch what it was before, who it was, but here's the fleet that's engaging the Kalon. And someone was asking, well, what does a Union warship look like? That's these big-ass ships. All right? So those are their actual, that would be the equivalent of a heavy cruiser in the Federation. So like the Enterprise, as opposed to one of these bad boys is like the Orville. Or actually, no, one of these bad boys is like the Orville. Yeah, and I don't understand, Mr. Miles, why he didn't leave his guns out or just shoot primary. Another one that doesn't make sense. Jokingly, but silk. Pretty sure Seth MacFarlane has been waiting for this moment since he was a derpy teen making Star Trek fan films. So you're probably 100% correct about that. If I could ever produce a show that was on the level of this would be like my golden moment right here to create my first big epic battle. That would be so much fun. But we'll see what happens here.
Looks like they got the message.
So now we got the Orville and all the Kalon ships approaching the fleet. And of course, we're going to probably cut to a commercial. And just like before, the editing shows it so that now we're going to join the battle in progress, which I know some people think is a cheat, but it actually makes sense because watching the first shot to the last shot of the battle, it can be cool, but it's not really necessary. Mr. Miles, the whole idea that he had some kind of directive that he couldn't fire at the primary, if that were the case, he would probably have a directive just saying he couldn't fire at another Kalon. That's my problem with that. Head cannon. Yes, he literally has a head cannon. Oh, man. Anyway, let's continue on. All right, so now we got the big battle going. Small ship was just taken down. Okay, so here's a nice close-up shot of one of the big guys taking a hit here, but you can see this is one of the larger ships. The Union design, they're all pretty much the same design, just different sizes, and this is obviously a much larger ship than the Orville, but yeah. Let's continue on. And now they're launching fighters. That's kind of cool. So that big ship actually has a squadron of fighters on it. Here's a shot of one of the Union fighters. Pretty badass looking if you look at it. So that's kind of cool. I am digging that. All right, and they took down one of the Kalon ships. And there goes another explorer or a scout, one of the two. There's the Orville shooting down one of the Phase lock the deflectors. Would love to know what that means, but they'll probably never say that ever again because this show doesn't do technobabble very much. Kalons have to be able to shoot each other in case of some coup, but you still would want to program not to kill primary. But the whole point of a coup would be to kill primary, so how could you kill primary and have a coup if you can't shoot primary? All the ships look like in the real world Navy. You're right. It does feel like, and that's something, again, that they do really well, is that they feel like they're all the same fleet, but they're different types of ships. So, yes. I always thought Starfleet ships could use fighters like these, but they're not the military. Shut up. Laughable Larry throws another $4.99 in. Thank you so much. So I would have liked this episode more had Isaac actually stayed evil. Would have been more of a twist. Too cliche for me. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. So far, I mean, we're getting close to the end here, and so far, they pretty much just paint by numbers. There's nothing in this episode that takes a chance. This is a very play it safe episode. However, it's a pretty epic one. And so, for a play it safe episode, it's about as good as you can get. The problem is that, yeah, they played it a little too safe. You know, none of the characters, I mean, from what we've seen so far, I don't think any character is going to die other than a red shirt or two. Can't rewind the stream. I don't know what's up with that, because I've enabled the DVR. I don't know why that is doing that. Let me go back and double check it. And but now it shows not enabled again. Stupid. YouTube hates me. I am sorry, Mercer. I am truly sorry. I'd rather than play it safe than subvert my expectations. Exactly. Well, that's the thing. I think for... oh, yeah, Mercer, you did miss the most epic of all epic Super Chats. If you look carefully, you will see there is now a fourth category of Super Chat, the Bird of Prey chat, which... is an $11 minimum for the Bird of Prey chat, because Bird of Prey insisted that the Bird of Prey chat be more expensive than any other type of super chat. So they are very much playing it safe. I don't think any characters are going to die. By the end of it, you know, Isaac is going to be back on the Orville. I'm sure they'll have a discussion about it, but Isaac is going to be back on the Orville. Everything is going to be pretty much the way it was before this epic story. And in a way, that's very much Best of Both Worlds, because after Best of Both Worlds, they had one episode where Picard was like getting over being assimilated, and then never brought up again until First Contact, as far as Picard having any lasting effects. All right, so let's continue on. Some beautiful, beautiful space ship porn as we're flying through the battle. What does that even? So this is interesting. Mercer gave this order, and the Krill captain gave the same order earlier, where they say concentrate your fire. Like, you normally don't have your weapons concentrated? What? I don't mind the term, but the problem is I want to know what it means. Because, for example, on Star Trek, and this is something they did pretty good in most Trek, is that you understood, like, okay, if you have a phaser, you can set it to stun, you can set it to kill, etc. You understand how these things work. You understand how the shields work. You understand, but in this, it's like, they throw the references out there, but what does, you know, okay, so you're phase locking the shields and concentrating your fire. But there was never an explanation in all the season and a half of Orville that we've seen so far to really explain it well as far as what that is. But the thing is, and I don't focus on a specific area, but the problem is in both cases, they don't give a following, like, for example, if that's what concentrate fire was to, meaning focus in on a specific target, I would be perfectly fine with that. But they never give a target. Neither the Krill captain nor Mercer, they didn't say, you know, concentrate your fire on that center part of their ship. Concentrate your fire on their weapons. You know, there needs to be something. And I would really like to know that. I can understand keeping little things up your sleeve like the 13-button salute and stuff, but the concentrate fire we should have heard before. All right, so let's continue. that was good. So Bortus is like, well, where should I target? And he's like, do eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Pick a spot. You think the 13-button salute line was a little too obvious? The hand gesture might have been a better warn of danger. That's a good point. You're right. The 13-button salute, I like, you know, or if they made it something a little more subtle. Because saying, oh, by the way, because it was an aside in the comment, by the way, 13-button salute, buddy. And it's like, okay, that wasn't a code. However, and in fact, I really like the idea that that they used in the original series, Code Green. So when the other captain was very suspicious of Mercer, if he said, oh, no, everything's Code Green here. And so Code Green sounds like everything's good because green is universally accepted as everything's good. And so, but yeah, the other captain, yeah, it was too much of a giveaway because even if the Kalons didn't already know the code, which they clearly did, it was pretty obvious. But yeah, let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo is racist. There's a lawsuit in my city about an airline that said it, and complaints won. Used to not be, yeah, I know, it used to be catch the N-word by the toe. It was originally a very racist thing, but most people don't think about that. But yeah, it's very true. And in fact, if you want to get into some weird racist terminology, picnic is an incredibly racist term. Picnic. Now, of course, when I say, hey, let's go have a picnic, that sounds like we're going to fill up a basket with some food, throw a blanket on the grass, eat the food, have a good time. But picnic originally meant that you were going to pick a black person to go, and then you were going to have a celebration where there was going to be food and stuff, and that black person would be killed. So, yeah. Anyway. Let's continue on. So, some really nice ship porn going on. Oh, Orville takes a pretty big hit. But they're still in the fight, of course. They're going to make it through the whole fight. Yeah, boom, bitch! Oh, man. So yeah, they're taking a beating. They're going to probably lose this fight. We know the Krill are going to show up, but you know they're in deep. They've lost 30-odd ships, and the Kalon have only lost 6 ships. However, the Kalon fleet seemed like it was less ships than the Union fleet. So, but whatever. This is a good battle overall. Not my favorite space battle of all time. That is still Star Trek II, but it's a really good battle. Let's keep going. Admiral's comms are down. But he's not dead. They just said that his ship lost power. Stargate Atlantis did better. Well, I haven't seen that yet, Mr. Miles. You know that. So when I get to it, if it's as awesome as this, I will talk about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about 20 to 30 Kalon ships as well. I'm going to have to go back and count it. But yeah, it didn't seem like there were that many. So it looks like 5 Kalon ships are heading to Earth. And yes, Mercer, I have seen that Far Side. I do love me the Far Side. What am I drinking? Just a little Southern Comfort. Nothing special. But literally, Southern Comfort. The Orville got massive Mocklin shield upgrade and deflectors, which allowed them to survive direct hits from Kalon ships. Wrong answer, Small Yoda, because right at the beginning of this battle, Kelly made a point to say that their weapons are cutting right through their deflectors. So no, the Mocklin upgrade didn't do jack for them. And they have taken a couple of hits. But remember, I don't have Tennessee whiskey with me today. This is actually Southern Comfort is from Louisiana, I believe. Yeah, New Orleans. But you know, it's not my favorite, but it's not bad. I mean, it's cheap and it's not rock gut. I actually, and I have to blame Captain Foley for this. I'm really taking a liking to Crown Royal. I'm waiting for, though, their special limited edition peach to come out before I buy another bottle. But let's see. Prime told Isaac to go upgrade the deflectors. Okay, I didn't catch that, but anyway, let's continue on through the battle. So the Orville's going after the 5 Kalon ships that are trying to attack Earth. And the Kalon ships are going to turn around, and 5-on-1, there's no way... So this has got to be the moment that the Krill show up, because there's no way in hell that the Orville is going to be able to take on 5 Kalon ships. And Orville just took a good hit to the forward saucery section, arrowhead area. Couple of hits there. Okay, so looks like 5 more Union ships have joined in with the Orville in another lovely ship-horn shot. However, this is interesting. Notice the Orville is actually the biggest of these ships. So they have basically the Orville, which is an explorer class, and 4 scouts going after these guys. The Union needs to upgrade their arsenal a bit. Just saying. Entry just before the orange shirt got tossed out the airlock. I didn't catch it, but I will. We can go back later after we finish this and see if. Remind me, MK, when I finish this, because we don't have very much left. But remind me when I finish it to go back and double check that. So now he's saying target their maneuvering thrusters and launch torpedoes. Orville's taking some serious hits. Now, another nice ship-porn shot, but there's more and more Union ships joining in the fight here, it looks like. Nice shot. And so, this is pretty intense, I gotta say. For a playing it safe kind of thing, it's pretty intense. Commander Ironwolf throws through $2 and says, I ran out of space, my last comment. What he says, the Kalon specifically said they upgraded the shields and presumably everything else before they went into the battle, so Orville was a better Orville than any other ship in the fleet. I could see that, but I would have to go back and double check. I didn't catch it, but then of course I've been talking to you guys most of the time through this. But if you guys remind me, I'll because MK thinks he knows right where it was, so we'll check that out in a minute. The Union is referred to as the military, for example, the episode where... they don't make any bones about that in this. Seth MacFarlane does not have a stick up his ass about the military like Gene Roddenberry did. Now, nice shots of Earth, by the way, in the distance. Obviously, that's where the battle is going. Oh, and that was nice. That was really a nice touch that I don't think I've ever seen in a sci-fi battle before, and it's just the subtlest little thing. Most people would never even notice it, and it's completely meaningless to the story. But I'm going to show this real quick. Notice the debris. So we have these ships flying off, and then in pursuit, of course, are the Union ships, right? So watch for the debris field here. There. Notice this big old field of debris that is flying towards Earth at the same speed as all these ships, because that ship was destroyed while moving at high speed, so the debris field is still moving at that speed. That is beautiful. It is so rare to see something like that. So I'm very impressed by that little touch, to have the debris field moving just as fast as the ships, because obviously it wouldn't slow down when they're in space. So, good job there, Seth. All right, so more beauty shots of both fleets going at each other. More shots of lots and lots of Union ships getting taken down. Oh! One of the other Union ships that gets disabled crashes into the side of the Orville. Not good for them. Chief Cook wants me to read his last... You guys, you know, I'm trying to watch the show here. Answer, which ship is better in the fight, the Defiant or the Orville? The problem is there's no common frame of reference to really judge that. My gut would tell me the Orville, to be honest with you. The Orville is pretty darn maneuverable. Seems like it's got pretty good weapons, pretty good shields. But we don't know the relative strength of their plasma weapons and torpedoes versus phasers, phaser cannons and photon torpedoes and quantum torpedoes. We don't know. And so if we'd have to be able to measure the relative destructive force of these weapons. That's the problem. To really get a good gauge of it. All right, so yeah, Orville took a nasty hit there when the other ship hit him. The Hawking has been destroyed. Nice little thing there. Not to mention Gordon is a damn good pilot. Oh yeah, hugging the donkey. I couldn't see the Defiant hugging the donkey. And we also don't know the relative speed of quantum drive compared to warp drive, right? So that's, yeah. Ouch. Big old hole in the side of Orville. Yeah, hull breaches on E and F. Good call out to whoever was noticing before that they referred to decks in letters and the K-line referred to them in numbers. I could see the Delta Flyer hugging the donkey with Tom Paris piloting. Absolutely. But the Delta Flyer is more like a fighter. And the Orville is like a small cruiser. So, yeah. Man, this is good stuff. So, the Kalon are, man, they are just the Quimby is gone. They're getting close to Earth. Orville's taking a massive beating. Exploding panels everywhere. So, Mercer's ordering everybody to abandon ships so they can overload the quantum drive. I'm assuming that would cause a huge explosion. Yep, here come the krill. So here comes the krill fleet, and again, ugly, ugly ships. I'm sorry. With what we've just been watching with this massive battle, that is ugly. Thomas wants me to read his line. Thomas, bunch of jerks here, I tell you. Where's your last comment? Dang, Thomas, how long ago was it? Was it before Iron Wolf put his super chat in? Wow, I don't see it, Thomas. I genuinely don't see where it is. Who's a better combat captain, Cisco or Mercer? I would have to go with Cisco right now. Mercer doesn't seem like much of a combat captain. But he adapts well. Let's see, Thomas. Oh, there it is. Nerdrotic noticed some Union ships rammed Kalon ships. I didn't catch that. I saw a Kalon ship ram a Union ship, but I didn't see Union ships ramming Kalon ships. So they should put flame decals on the Orville. They should. So yeah, the krill ships are ugly, but good to see them show up. Stop watching and read the unabridged works of Shakespeare. Well, why? As the saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, yeah, and again, they're playing it safe, but I like the idea of the krill showing up for the fight. I'm all for that, and that makes sense because I think the krill would join the fight if they saw a common enemy like this. But I I'm just not. I just don't like their ships. I think their ships are butt ugly. And they all look exactly the same. It's like there's like 25 krill ships that look exactly the same. There's no difference between them, no variety in their fleet at all. Which I understand, budgetary constraints.
Captain Mercer, meet Captain Dalek.
It's good to meet you. We owe you one. Try to stay out of our way.
So the krill are just being asses and saying, stay out of our way. So the Orville's turning around. Boy, the Orville's taking a beating in this one. And the Orville's going into formation with the krill. And so not bad. I mean, granted, the krill ships are ugly, but I mean, at least from some angles, they don't look too bad. Like this is a massive ship porn shot. Look at this shot. I don't even want to count how many ships are in this shot. But I have to say, from this angle, behind and above, the krill ships don't look too bad. I actually kind of dig the design of the krill ships from this angle. The problem is that they always show them from the front and below. And from that angle, I think that they are butt ugly. So they need to keep the ships at this angle. So, congratulations, you found an angle that an ugly ship looks decent. Oh, they have fight. Oh, whoa. So here's something we haven't seen. Yep, wrong button. Krill fighters, very small, spindly things. Definitely an original design. I'll give them that. I mean, they kind of remind me of the BSG reimagined Cylon fighters, but they're cool. I like them. I'm down with the fighters, even though I don't like the big ships. Show no mercy, we fight for the glory of Avis. So that's a nice shot where you can actually see the blast of energy right there, but just happened to pause it there, so I thought that was cool. More fighters dropping. Ha 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 ha! Oh, he did not just say that. He did not. No. No. Gordon. Gordon. I love you, Gordon. Gordon is now officially the best character on this show, hands down. So as he launches his fighter, he yells, "Just a walk in the park, Kazansky." Now, some of you are probably too young to get that, but that is a line from Top Gun. That is when Tom Cruise was Iceman, played by Val Kilmer. His real name was Kazansky. And when they're flying, he says, "Just a walk in the park, Kazansky." So yes, freaking awesome. That was good. That was really good. And there goes a krill ship. So the battle is and by the way, the effects on the bridge when they turn the ship and stuff, they do a really good job with that. For the glory of Avis, is it too late to ask for? No, Commander, I'll hit you up. Give me just a couple of minutes because I'm almost to the end of this. Let me finish this up. And you want number 7? Remind me in a minute, okay? So yeah, Gordon is now a fighter pilot. Love it. Okay. What does that even mean? Somebody, I know somebody posted that in the comments before, and I figured it was going to be a line. What does that mean to wash your mouth out with Gordon? That's weird. All right, so now the it looks like the Kalon are retreating. Yes, so they have officially retreated. Was Gordon a test pilot? I don't know, but he is a damn good pilot. We knew he was the best pilot in the fleet already, was piloting the Orville, but then now he's got a fighter. I like that. So, and let me give some props to Seth real quick, because he did something. I complained a little bit, like somebody asked me what I didn't like. No, I didn't know. Did he do the bite from Top Gun? I did not notice that. Darn it. I'll have to, when I rewatch this, I'm gonna have to look for that. But when somebody asked me the other day to say what I thought, what I didn't like about what's the Tom Cruise bite? Oh, it's when he goes, "Yes, I am dangerous." Yeah, but I didn't catch that. But anyway, and it was actually Val Kilmer that did the bite, not Tom Cruise. But anyway, oh gosh, I lost my. Oh yeah. So somebody asked me the other day what I didn't like about the Orville, and I said that, you know, overall it's a great show, but they sometimes get a little heavy-handed with their politics and the way they've been treating religion. Particularly, they trying to turn religion into a joke with the krill, and this I kind of like, because they even though they did not, obviously the krill captain is, you know, everything he says is it's Avis's will. We do this for the glory of Avis, 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 Avis. Everything is about their religion. But when Captain Mercer is like, well, hopefully we can, you know, work together because we have a common enemy, and he's like, well, Avis brought us together, and only he knows why, but we will see where this path leads. You know, and I like that. They're keeping their religion, but they're not making them bad just because they're religious. So I got to give Seth some props there, because that's actually pretty good. And I know Seth is an atheist, so it would be very easy for him to fall into the atheist trap there of making all religion always bad, like you see on Discovery. So now they're debating on whether or not to wake up Isaac. Mercer says, I find the show extremely entertaining. That's what counts. Absolutely. I find it strange that Krill would give Gordon one of their ships, even if it was just a fighter, even in that situation. I do think it's unusual. I would assume, and there may, who knows, maybe there's deleted scenes or something. I would assume that at some point, maybe Kelly convinced the captain that Gordon is the best human pilot there's ever been, so you got to get him in the fight. That would make sense to me, and that conversation happened sometime during their trip. They need a third bad race with a K name to form the super evil KKK alliance. Oh, jeez. So Yaphet oozed into Isaac and woke him up. Gordon the actor is married to Kelly the actress? I'd never heard that. Leaving Gordon as a surprise was a good idea. Oh, I agree, Ensign. I think that was a fun moment. But they could have had a throwaway line afterwards where he said, well, you know, it's a good thing you convinced him to let me fly that thing. And yep. Yeah, the Kaczynski line was great, Mercer. That was a perfect line. That was really but man, Gordon just knocked out of the park. He was definitely the best part of this episode for me. That space battle was epic. Now we're in the epilogue. Obviously, they're talking about saving Isaac. I know I'm not paying that close attention because I know what's going to happen. The Admiral doesn't like the idea of letting Isaac continue, but he's going to begrudgingly let Mercer keep Isaac on the crew because we got to keep the status quo for the next episode. But yeah, that was who was piloting the USS Orville? Ensign No Name. And so Ensign No Name did a pretty darn good job. And then I can't remember what's Gordon's best friend's name. The black guy. I can never remember his name. He's not on the show enough because he's a nice character. It's just that he's Lamar. Thank you. Lamar was there too. So Lamar might have been piloting, and the other guy was just the navigator. So I think Lamar was probably the pilot. So now the doctor is going to talk to Isaac. It's Lamar. I'm a racist because I didn't know it. Well, sorry. That black guy, you're racist. That's just a description of the guy. Jeez. Oh, yeah, Mr. Miles has video proof that I'm a racist. Oh, jeez. I kind of feel bad for Isaac now because, yeah, he doesn't have any kind of a home. And, you know, now we have Isaac and the doctor talking, but obviously they're not a couple anymore, it looks like. Just too bad because apparently she was really into the whole vibrator thing. Just because he's black doesn't mean he can't pilot, Anti-Terror. I didn't say he couldn't pilot. I just realized, it took me a minute, I realized he was sitting in the same seat that Gordon's usually in, so I think he was piloting. So, you wish Adrian Palke was Captain Marvel instead of Brie Larson? Who is that? Because I don't know the cast by name, except for Seth. And she was in G.I. Joe Retaliation. Who is it? Which character is it? Because I'm not sure who you're talking about. And I'm not going to look it up while I'm... Oh, Kelly? Kelly looked so much better before. She's too skinny in this show. I'm sorry. She is just way too skinny in this show. And roll credits. I do think she would have made a better Captain Marvel than Brie Larson. I will agree with you on that, but I do think that she is too thin, and it is a tragedy, an absolute tragedy that women in Hollywood are so obsessed with being so ridiculously thin. I cannot stand that. And it's not just because, ooh, Andy Tricker likes the meat on them bones. It's because, I mean, Kelly, if you look at her right now on the Orville compared to what she looked like in the past. I can't remember. There was a movie she was in that me and Mrs. Anti-Trekker watched very recently. And we were like, oh, look, it's Kelly from the Orville. But she looks so much better. And so, let's see. Check Discord, link to next episode, says Thomas. Let me see. What are you talking about? Oh, the promo for Blood of Patriots. Yeah, and I see it looks like that Krill Captain. I'll check that out in a minute. But thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. And you want to see number 8. And I know that Commander Ironwolf wants to see number 7. So I will get both of those up there. And I'm going to clip out, oh, I like meat on them bones. Well, I do, but I'm just saying that's not the only thing. I think that she looks unhealthy to me. She looks too thin. And she's not a bad looking woman. And so, but if she looked healthy, you know, you think that the uniform is too misleading? Oh, John Wick. Yes, that's it. She was in John Wick and she looked great. So yeah, thank you. That's the movie that me and Mrs. Anti-Trekker saw. That we've seen it before, but we saw it recently. We're like, oh crap, it's Kelly. because the first time we saw it was before the Orville came out. Anyway, the closer to the bone, the sweeter the meat. Disagree, Mars. Disagree. Because the bigger the cushion, the sweeter the pushing. All right, so let me get those super chats up for you too, and then we'll talk a little bit and wrap it up. Oh, muted, I know.
Anal natrach, was betad, doch jeldienle.
Ariel Natris Oris Bazi Bedhead Duchel Dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I love Bird of Prey.
And they're pork. It is with cooking with the pork and the pork. The guy with the cow, and we're gonna make the kelp. Here's a bring out the kelp.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, the kelp, get it in the pot.
Get in the pot here.
And then we stir the kelp. That's a good kelp.
Okay. Mercer feels bad because he doesn't have $11 for the new Bird of Prey Super Mega Chat. Well, you know, I'm going to play it one more time because Laughable Larry donated a few times without asking for a Super Chat reward, and there were a couple other Super Chats that didn't ask for Super Chat rewards. So I figured, you know what, for those of you that didn't get to see it at the beginning, this is the single greatest Super Chat, and plus we got a big audience tonight, 75 people. Thank you all that are here. But this is the single greatest Super Chat reward ever conceived. And that's why it has a minimum donation of $11 to get to it, because it goes to 11. So what a lot of people don't realize is that Bird of Prey was actually a guest star on Star Trek The Next Generation. This was an episode that never aired. It was originally supposed to be in season 8, but it just never happened. So let's take a quick peek.
Captain's log, stardate 44307.3. I'm preparing to leave my shuttlecraft for Pentaris 5, where I've been asked to mediate a dispute among the Salinite miners. A contentious group, unfortunately prone to violence. But first, I must deal with a situation of a far more personal nature.
What better way to get first-hand experience?
Captain, I'm picking up a general distress signal from Bird of Prey 5.
On screen.
Feel the fire, feel my love inside you so bright. There's the sound and the smell of love on my mind. I'm your toy, come play with me. Say the word now. Wrap your legs around me. Ride me tonight.
My love is a fever, longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease.
I'm a man, I'm a goddess, I'm a man, I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a blue movie, I'm a man, I'm a bitch, I'm a man, I'm a geyser, I'm a man, I'm a little girl, and we'll make love together. This sounds very pedo-ish.
In faith, I do not love thee with mine eyes, for they in thee 1,000 errors see, but 'tis My heart that loves what they despise, who, in despite of view, are pleased to dote. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate.
What? Oh my God.
When I have plucked the rose, I cannot give it vital growth again. It needs, must wither.
Why are you saying these things? Music to make love to an old ladybug.
You wonderfully jealous fool, you.
Wow, well that's basically rape. That is rape as a song. Congratulations. I gotta go turn myself in.
There it is. The single greatest super chat reward in the history of super chats. Oh, man. Did you hear the theory that the Mochlins are actually installing viruses aboard the ship alongside the upgrades, hence the torpedo hit? They'll be the actual villains. I would not be surprised if the Mochlins end up becoming villains, because they kind of did set up that because they're such bigots, how are they going to maintain a relationship? I think they actually said that in a recent episode. So, is Bird of Prey sober? Yeah, he's just that's how he talks, and so I don't know how he talked before he was bedridden. I don't know if his voice has changed at all or anything. You'd have to ask him. But I know that sometimes because of the way he and it's, man, I couldn't even imagine going through what he's been through. So I know that he's lost some use of some of his muscles and stuff. So I don't know if that's affected his speech at all. So conclusions about the episode. Let's talk about that. So, and Bird of Prey, unfortunately, he's here at the beginning of the stream, but he's gone now. He'll watch the rest of this tomorrow. So Bird of Prey, I appreciate the fact that, you put up with me and you let me make fun of you, because you're a good guy. You really are. So thank you for that. And Alexa, call mom. Alexa, set alarm 1 a.m. So let's talk about it. So overall, the episode, the writing, was there anything really original in this episode? If I got to be honest, the answer to that's no. This was a very by the numbers, a very safe play. Nothing they did was really a shock as far as major plot things. There were little things that were surprises that were a lot of fun, like Gordon being in the fighter, right? But nothing that happened in this was shocking. Nothing that happened in this was really completely unexpected. But it was executed flawlessly. My main drawbacks to the episode would be, and it's mostly from the first half really, is that Prime behaved in an illogical manner. He clearly had a personal bias against organisms, and so his prejudice got in the way of him making rational decisions. That doesn't make sense for a computer. Isaac developing true emotions, I guess, it's sci-fi, so I'll give him that. I don't think that that's really possible, but whatever. So I'll let that one slide, but the behavior of Prime, I think, is inexcusable. I was a little frustrated because they did this in part 1 as well, with the dumbing down of the Orville crew when they're trying to make emotional appeals to beings that they know are simply robots and have no feelings whatsoever. So, if, just as far as a right off the cuff number score, I would probably have to give it about an 8 to an 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to have to digest it a little bit to really give it a firm number, but that's the general range where I'm thinking. Really, really solid episode. Now, just to kind of put things in comparison, and Ty was great. I did like Ty is actually really, really impressed me in these last 2 episodes as far as such a young kid doing a great job acting. So I'd argue that anything that has motives has emotions, whether or not they admit it. You need to care before you can do something. That said, they have mostly alien emotions. That's an interesting way to put it, but I as far as my problem isn't whether or not you could say motive equals emotion. My problem is that they are simply machines. And I'm actually among the people that think that data is nothing more than a piece of equipment. I agree with Dr. Polanski on that. So at least they didn't have Mercer talk Prime into self-destruct. That's true. That's true. What's the count of the red shirts that died? I don't know. That's a future video waiting to happen, I think. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really solid. It was I will say this. Identity Part 2 was better than Best of Both Worlds Part 2. But Best of Both Worlds was better than Identity Part 1. All right, so but I think that Identity Part 1, I'm still going to give a slightly high. I'm going to give a slightly higher score, but I also really knocked the score of Best of Both Worlds Part 2. I'm going to give Identity Part 1 a solid 9. Really, my only problems with Identity Part 1 is the emotional appeals to the robots and the fact that the robots didn't just annihilate them. Identity Part 2, I think there was a little bit more in the problems. The fact that they didn't finish it off with something that was a twist, something that was new, but it was really, really solid, really well executed. Just a fun episode from beginning to end. And Gordon was the absolute icing on the cake. The thing that pushes it from 8 to 8.5 was all Gordon. That was Gordon's best episode, and Gordon is a lot of fun all the time. I hope that this episode is the beginning of more and more of Gordon's little wisecracks like that. The Walk in the Park Kazansky was such a great reference that only a certain amount of people will get, but they threw it in there anyway. And they didn't sit there and try to explain it. Yaphet, I like too. And the thing, they actually used Yaphet in a better, because Yaphet has always just been there. Norm Macdonald, I know somebody said he's a national treasure. He absolutely is. I love his voice. He's great. Getting him to be the voice of Yaphet was a stroke of genius. But up until this point, Yaphet is just the guy that comes in, says a dirty joke, and leaves. That's all he's been for this series. This episode was the first time we really saw Yaphet do something. And it was good. And so I actually really like that. I think that they utilized almost everybody. Honestly, the only character that I think really got the short end of the stick in this one was Lamar. While Lamar did get to pilot the ship in the big battle at the end, considering that he's like the main engineer, they could have had him do some kind of techie thing, but they didn't. However, I think that everybody did get at least something good to do in the episode, which is a big plus, something we don't get on Discovery. So, yeah. And, oh, yeah, the shield upgrade. So you said, let me go. I didn't close it. No, it's right there. So let me move this window over so we can see it. All right, so I remember you said that the shield upgrade was shortly after they airlocked the ensign. Or was it before or after they airlocked the ensign? We didn't see any superhuman strength for one of the characters. Yeah, we didn't see like Bortus and the girl, I always forget her name. That's the super strong alien Vulcan looking chick. Neither of them really got to use their super strength, but they were both useful. But yeah, this was definitely Gordon's episode. And Talia, however you say it, yes. We had you on Star Trek Discovery. When are you going to be on Orville? Josh? What do you mean you had me on Star Trek Discovery? When are you going to be on Orville? What in the world are you talking about? Tala. I will get it eventually. Andrew, what happened to the character that played the temporary security chief? I know that he wasn't long-term, but there was no going away scene, or did I miss it? No, I don't think they did. Oh, the 7-foot turd on Discovery, yes. Yeah, they haven't had a giant turd on this show yet. He had his boom, bitch! But, so, you're expecting the orange shirt to fly back to the ship like Leah Poppins? No. Anyway, so I have Patrick Warburton as that alien with the nose that goes that goes into his stomach. He was funny. I would have liked to have seen him stick around for a little bit, to be honest with you. I think he should be like now that when Tala came on, they should have had him be like her assistant. Because he was, I love Patrick, and I would have loved to have seen him stick around. So I'm still waiting to hear. So the shield reference, is it before or after the airlock scene? I'm at the airlock scene, but I don't know whether to go forward or back. Move your mic, sorry. It's fun truck. Yeah, it absolutely is. The Orville is a solid show, and Seth MacFarlane deserves a lot of credit for developing it. So let me play it for just a minute here.
Proceed. The human is a trained systems engineer.
All right, let me see. Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Operations could be useful to us.
Isaac, you will go to the bridge and assist with the shield upgrade.
Yeah, you're right. He said, Isaac, you will go to the bridge and assist with the shield upgrade. So they did do something with the shields. And maybe that, but so yes, he did tell him that. Oh yeah, and you asked earlier, Chief Cook, what would Picard do with Isaac? That is an interesting one. I think that Picard would not have reactivated Isaac after the incident, because Picard is a little more prudent than Mercer. And I think Picard would be right in that case to not reactivate a potentially homicidal killbot. Nobody should have reactivated. You know, the thing is, and it's the same thing, you know, whenever you have a character that can just easily be switched over to the other side, yeah, they need to either make it impossible for that to happen again or get rid of that character. He should have, he should have deactivated Data after Descent. He absolutely should have. I like the fact that Mercer makes the correct moral decisions, but he's nervous about trivial ones. Yeah, I think Mercer, I like his character. He is, you could see, like, here's how I think of Mercer. He's a natural leader who lacks confidence. And so it's like someone with all the instincts of James T. Kirk, but without that swagger of James T. Kirk. He just doesn't have any real self-confidence. VidCon gave Steve Shives creator grant. Okay. No, that's VidCon. I've never been to VidCon, but I'm not surprised. Steve Shives has 80,000 subs. The Kalon can still deactivate Isaac remotely. Well, we don't know. So, yeah, give Knox a grant from Batman 1989. Yes, I remember that. Knox was the worst part of that movie, but yeah, that was a good line though. All right, guys. So with that, I am going to wrap it up, but I want to say thank you for hanging out with me. It was a lot of fun watching the Orville together. Thank you for those of you that were able to give me a super chat, and those of you that just subscribe to the channel or support through Patreon or the website. I really, really do appreciate it. You guys are changing my life, Mrs. Antitrekker's life, and Joshua's life by supporting us. And I really, really want to do this full time. Sorry, my webcam was just wigging out there. But eventually, you know, I want to do this full time, but it's going to take time. Shaky Cam, yes. Commander Ironwolf throws a buck into the chat. Thank you so much, Commander. And I assume you want to see a super chat reward since you threw that in there. So I'll wait for you to say that. Isaac likely disconnected from whatever network they should. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that whatever network connection, they fried his modem or something. I don't know. How do you know it's Japanese? Because I got it in Japan. Yes. Another great line from that same thing, but I still hate Knox. Mercer's like 15 years older than Riker. Yeah? Gordo Explodable Mr. Okay. I wouldn't put all your eggs in YouTube's basket. Well, I have other things that I'm working on, Fred, but I'm just saying, this is what I love doing. And it's not like I would burn my bridges with work or something. Why can't I? Because, Laughable, there's some problem with the live stream. I don't know why it is, but I keep telling it to enable the DVR function, and then every time I start a new stream, it disables it for some reason. I genuinely don't know why. And yeah, I see what you sent me. So Steve has the undoubted ability to speak on controversial topics like politics and social issues and Star Trek. I don't care. Are you going to do a general season 2 review of the Orville once the season ends? I'll probably do a general season 2 or even just a recap of season 1 and 2, but I plan to review each episode in depth over time because they're worth it. Old number 8. Old number... Geez, you're always making me dig up stuff. Let me see. Do I have it queued up here? Man. Let's see. What is... That's the retired butthole. Intermittent Doom. I don't even know what that is. Man, not sure. Let me see if I go into Super Chats and retired and... Which one was number 8? The Swedish Chef, right? Joker, Xenomorph Reloaded. No. Is this it? This might be it.
Borg, Borg, Borg. Do the Borg and jumpin' the Porg. Porgy, come here, Porgy. Jumpy, jumpy, Porgy.
There you go. And Larry says, can I choose number 2? Yes, you've thrown enough out there. I'll throw the... there it is.
In deepest squat, on coldest seat, bite your lip and grab 3 sheets.
Oh, you
in
meant the
brown
lawn
sweet
master.
and daylight too. Beware my power, brown lanterns, poo!
We'll get the lawn master.
Hey, didn't we do this joke already?
I will definitely be looking for the Iceman bite the next time I watch this. But let's see, Uber chat number 2. Let's get that up there.
Hello, everybody. Is your front yard not growing according to your plan? Are you unable to eradicate those pesky rebellious crabgrass? Call us. I am the lawn master, and everything will grow according to my design. Do it.
So Thomas is going to miss the day stream on Monday and Wednesdays and possibly some night streams. What's going on, Thomas? You got a new job or something and now you're not going to be able to join us? I might have to adjust my schedule for you. Isn't number 2 a super chat record? You could say that, yes. So is Bird of Prey crazy for not liking the episode? No, I wouldn't say Bird of Prey is crazy. And, you know, I've said it before. I don't disrespect someone just because they didn't like something that I liked. That being said, I think Bird of Prey, I don't know yet. We'll have our discussion on Monday. But, which, by the way, Bird of Prey is going to be on the show with me on Monday. We're going to talk about it. And old number 8, yeah, that one doesn't exist anymore because we have the Uber chat number 6 replaced it. Anyway, and everything that was in the old number 8 is still in the Uber chat 6. But I lost track of what was I saying? Oh, Bird of Prey, is he crazy? So I think that probably some of the things that annoyed me probably just annoyed him more. And that's my guess, because honestly, they're legitimate gripes in this episode, right? And I mentioned quite a few of them while we were watching it. So I can see how that could really ruin some people. But to me, I think the episode, it was what it needed to be. So let's see. Steven says, it's my birthday today. Do you have a list of all the super chats? Yeah, they're right here. That's what that whole thing is for. And I agree, Mr. I that's the bottom line with any show and any movie is entertaining. And that's one of the reasons I don't like when they go heavy-handed with politics, which they've done a couple of times in Orville, but not too much. They do it all the time, of course, in Discovery, and now they're trying to do it with Star Wars and crap like that. But if it's entertaining, and when they throw politics in, that drags me out because I'm like, oh, geez, why are we talking about this? But if it's entertaining, then yes. And this episode, and that's why I give it as high a score as I did, because while the griping things were real, Gordon was so damn fun that every time I was about to get pissed off at the episode, Gordon would say one line like the P corner and just make me smile. Is Kelly a good first officer? That's an interesting question. I think she is and she isn't. She is, she's definitely a strong character. She knows her stuff, but she lets her emotions get in the way. And she's prejudiced about Mercer. So, Ed Checker, where's your P corner for us? It's back there in Thomas's door. So, my girlfriend won't stop talking about the P corner. The P corner thing was pretty good. I gotta say, that was pretty good. All right, guys, so I am going to wrap it up because I do need to get some sleep. It is after 1 o'clock in the morning, and I do want to say thank you all for hanging out with me. Thank you all for supporting me, and thank you all for just being the best damn people on the internets in 2019. Because, remember...
I have got something better!
Josh throws a buck into the chat because he's not going to let me get any rest, but that's all right. I appreciate it, Josh. So let me know what you want. And yes, Thomas, I did see your comment that you're going to be in DC, and I forgot you even mentioned you're going to see the Enterprise. So, and so I want pictures, and of course I expect you to still show up and put your super chats in because, you know, I need to feed the kids. So, you know, you don't want Joshua to starve to death and it be all your fault, do you, Josh? Or Thomas? Josh is the one I'm waiting to hear from. Who doesn't Laura do live streams? I assume, yeah, why? I don't know. I actually sent him a message and he didn't answer. I don't know what's going on with him. So I still think Sacrifice of Angels was a better battle. I don't know. I like the battle in this a little better than Sacrifice of Angels, but I still think Star Trek II is my favorite space battle of all time. Josh wants the good old evil Joker Foley. Let's see. Do I have... I think I do have that one. Let me see. Is that... No, that's the naked... That's not what you wanted. Let's see. Where is... Bear with me. Let me see. Was it in here? Or Christmas? Look for... let's... Yeah, you're not going to find me singing too much. Bear with me. I'm looking for the Foley thing. I know it's around here somewhere. Let's see. All right, where are you? That's the raw file. Where's the... Let's do this. We'll do... All right, there's the folder. Irish, Palpatine, Sling Blade. He's the action. Where is it? Dang it. There's Sling Blade Con, Redneck Con, Irish Con, French Con, English Con. I can't find it. Dang it, Josh. I'm looking for it. So dang. I am lost here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Let's try just searching the whole drive here. Yeah. Give me one more search here. Then, if I can't find it, you want good old number 3. All right, well, let's see here. Yeah, I can't find the file. I don't know where it is. So, but in the meantime, we'll put on the old number 3 for you. And... Will Patrick appear on the Orville? I assume you may be Patrick Stewart. Probably not. After all, he is, doing his own show on CBS, so that would be a conflict of interest for him to show up on a Fox show. Where's Waspinator? I don't know. Don't care. I am done with Waspinator ever since he suggested that I should have aborted my son. So, Waspinator crossed the line with that whole thing, and I have no place for him. I don't hate him, but I'm just not interested in whatever he has to say or do. All right, so Thunder, Thundercats, ho!
And sing it! My, this here Anakin guy. Sing it! Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry. Sing it! And left his home and kissed his mama goodbye. Sing it! Saying soon I'm gonna be a Jedi. Soon I'm gonna be a Jedi. Sing it! How good the boy could be. So we took him there and we told the tale how his mordi-chlorons were off the scale and he might fulfill that prophecy. Sing it! Mordi-chlorons, sing it! 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 Sing it!